disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
We just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. Lobito! You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Welcome everybody to the Boxing Podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north. This is your friend Mr. BDA, and alongside with me as always my co-host, the one, the only King, Bucho King. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Now listen fellas, today is another Anything Goes Open Phone Lines Friday episode, which means everyone is allowed in. We're going to be putting up a Streamyard link, more or less for the people that are outside of North America. You can also call in, phone number in the lower left-hand screen portion of your screen. We also, like I said, StreamYard link is incoming. But before we get to the fun, let's get the business out of the way, fellas. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. If you want to keep the gravy train rolling, you can certainly do so via the Super Chat feature during the show. Or you can go to the Patreon page. Or you can go to the, the Patreon, PayPal page, of course. But of course, the most important thing is that you guys continue to support us by listening to the show. There you got the phone call there. Listening to the show, hitting the thumbs up button, and subscribing if you haven't done so already. So that's about it, fellas. Today, we're going to give a shout out to Blue Collar Sport TV in the chat, Saint Brit, Rich Kurek, SSB28, Jim McDonald. Shout out to Jim. I was checking out his channel like a week ago. He's got some funny videos that I've never seen before from wacky antics from boxers all around. Iceman, shout out to Iceman, Official Scorecard Boxing, Adam UK, Christopher Roman, DT, Brian Harkin, and many more people to come, I'm sure. Fellas, thank you for joining us. I'd connected to the phone lines here, but for some reason it disconnected. Hold on a second, fellas. Give me a second here. Let's see. Are we on? All right. We're still not operational with the phone calls. Give me 2 seconds. Anyway, listen, fellas. Anything goes. Tomorrow we got Canelo versus Yildirim. They made weight. Not terribly interested in that fight. I gotta tell you. I don't even know if I'm gonna watch it live. Butcher, are you gonna watch that fight live or?
Yes, I am.
Now,
I'm not excited about the fight, but it's a night to chill. I mean, it's Canelo. You know what I mean? Like, he's gonna knock this guy out. Maybe you can place a bet on when is Yildirim gonna be stopped.
I can't hear you anymore, man. What
Watch
happened?
this fight.
Okay, so what are the odds? While I'm trying to work these phone lines here, what are the odds for the fight?
Yeah, so here we go, people. I'm on Bet365. Canelo is a 50-1 favorite. So that means that you have to place $50 to win $1 back. So you can imagine it's not even worth it. Yildirim is a 14-1 underdog. So for $1, you can get $14 back. Yildirim to win in round 1 or round 2 or round 3 all the way to 12, it's 100-1. So
100-1.
if Yildirim manages to stop Canelo, it's 100-1 if you place a bet on a single round. What else do we have here? I mean, it's not worth it at all, man. Like, for example, Canelo stops Yildirim between 7 and 9. It's a 3.3-1 bet. What else do we have?
So if you want to win $2 by betting on Canelo, how much do you have to place?
$100.
Jesus, so
You
it's
win
really
10
not fucking.
bucks. Listen, but here's some interesting ones. Like, if you think that Canelo's gonna stop Yildirim in round 5, 6-1. Okay, that's not interesting at all. Actually, it gets interesting after round 10, because if Canelo stops Yildirim in round 10, it's 20-1. Then in round 11, 28-1. And if Canelo stops Yildirim in round 12, it's 50-1.
Okay, so it's not worth it at all, man. I mean,
It's not
look,
worth it at all, actually. Not at all.
I'll tell you what
it's
I
a
think.
terrible fight. Terrible fight. But listen, it's a warm-up fight. It's a warm-up fight. That's what it is. Like, he wasn't even supposed to fight in February, so I'm not excusing the guy, but at the same time, this is what we want from boxers. He says he wants to fight 4 times a year. Hopefully he does it, and hopefully other boxers follow in his footsteps.
Butcher, are you on line in right now with the audio?
Nope.
Okay, because you were crackling a little bit. Yeah, listen, I just put the StreamYard link in the description there, so anybody can jump in. Yeah, but Bucho, I mean, I understand he says he wants to fight. What is it, 3 or 4 times? Did you say he complained about it?
4 times.
Right, 4 times. So this fight, and then he's going to be fighting in May against Billy Joe Saunders. They're saying it's going to be Billy Joe Saunders. Potentially Golovkin down the line, maybe a light heavyweight.
He's saying that he wants to unify the division this year. So he will have to beat Billy Joe Saunders and then Caleb Plant.
Right.
So that's already 3 fights, and then there's an extra fight, which would be maybe against, I don't know, Golovkin. Although I was watching this interview on ESPN Spanish, and they mentioned Golovkin's name, and Canelo got pissed off. He's like, again with Golovkin. I already fought him 24 rounds. And then if I beat him, and actually I think I would knock him out this time, he said, people are just gonna complain that he was too old. So this guy is just complaining. And it's true. Maybe he stops Golovkin now. And it's true. We're gonna be saying that Golovkin was past his prime, because he actually is past his prime.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Give him an immediate third fight.
Yeah, that's the thing, man.
Yeah. Yeah, go
okay,
ahead.
do me a favor. Jump out and come back in, because you're crackling for some reason. There you go. All right. Keep going now.
Yep.
Yeah. Speak.
Yeah, is it better now? Yes or no?
I think so, but that's why I need you to speak. You can't just
Okay,
say
well,
yeah.
anyways, so what was I saying? Canelo, he was crying on ESPN Spanish because they mentioned Golovkin's name. Like, he thinks that he proved that he's much better than Golovkin. But the second fight, I had Canelo winning, but it was a close fight, so he deserved an immediate third fight. He didn't want to take that third fight. He waited, and people are pissed off. But he thinks that there's no reason for him to fight Golovkin again.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Remember when he beat Golovkin in the rematch, and he puts his finger up to his nose as if shushing people, as if he called it and he proved everybody wrong. And I'm thinking, what? You beat the guy by a very close decision. It's not like you beat him up. It wasn't a Hopkins type Trinidad performance. So I mean, I don't know what's wrong what's wrong with the guy. Like with Caleb Plant, for example, when he beat Uskatewi, and I think he spent the last round running with his face all busted up, and he jumps on the corner at the end, like screaming as if he fucking beat the guy's ass. I'm thinking, it's like you can't outbox somebody, have your face looking worse than your opponent, even though you won the decision or you deserve to win, and then jump on the top rope or on the corner and start beating your chest like you're King Kong. I mean, come on. It's some of these guys, they need to step it up, man. And Canelo, look, if he's going to be fighting this, I hate to call the guy a scrub, but that's what he's proven to be, man. I mean, I was watching Mark's stream or Johnny Boy's stream. I forget which one it was, but they were showing a clip. Somebody, I think it was Jet Kyle, brought up a clip of a fight from Yildirim in a gym in Turkey. Yeah, I'm going to send the invites. A gym in Turkey or somewhere, and he got wobbled, and I think the ref stopped the fight and gave him extra time, or actually warned the other guy for wobbling Yildirim. I mean, it was bizarre, man. And I'm thinking that's the level he's at. I mean, he's a strong guy. Let's face it. He looks bigger than what's his name? Definitely looks bigger than Canelo. Who's if you look bigger than Canelo, that means you're big. But he's also not a very strong guy, I mean, he's not a very active, big puncher. I will say he's active though. He's active, but he's not the biggest puncher. He's not the best boxer. So I just don't see the only way he could beat Canelo is if he outworks him. Other than that, and by the way, Butcher, you want me to send you the invite, or you want me to invite people?
No, I got the invite. I'm sending it.
Okay. But yeah, people, don't forget, phone lines are open. You can call us. You can go on the StreamYard, do it whichever way you want. This is what we are here for, man. Give you the best service possible. This is your night. This is your evening. You get to call in and give it to us. You got to give it to us. Your best opinion, baby. Everything you've got. Now, Bucho, like we were talking about, so do you agree with what I'm saying, that really the only way Yildirim could win this is if he outworks Canelo? Other than that, he's not going to knock him out, probably not, and he's not going to win a decision. He's not going to outbox him.
Yeah. Or if Canelo twists his ankle or something like that. That's
actually it. Yeah, that's actually what I'm worried about. I don't know why he's taking this fight. The reason I hear
injured, that's what you're saying. What if he gets injured? Who gives a shit, man? He needs to fight. These boxers need to fight more often.
But what's the point of this fight? I don't get it. What's the point of the fight?
I know. Okay, listen. It's an opportunity to showcase his skills or promote himself. Listen, we think he's the shit right now, like in terms of popularity, but he still hasn't transcended the sport that much. But if he fights constantly, then people are gonna keep talking about the guy. They're gonna start remembering him. And by the way, he can actually knock out this guy, so it could be a good highlight reel.
That's an interesting thing about this fight.
What?
That's interesting thing about this fight, which is that people are saying, well, he's a mandatory, Yildirim. Okay, but Canelo has already said, somebody put an article on Discord that says that Canelo's complaining about alphabet titles and saying that there needs to be one champ per division, like the old list, the way it's supposed to be. And he doesn't need the titles. So that excuse about, well, he wants to keep his titles, blah, 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 I don't buy it, man. I still think...
How come Yildirim is a WBC mandatory, right?
Why
didn't Canelo get a WBC franchise title, and why didn't they make Yildirim the WBC champion as they did with Devin Haney?
It's a good question. You're asking the wrong guy. You know me. I don't know.
Canelo's already a unified champion, so I guess he's eligible to get that WBC franchise belt, I'm assuming. So he could have gotten the franchise belt, and imagine Yildirim gets the WBC.
I don't know. Listen, this whole thing about Canelo, if he gets hurt tomorrow, or if it turns out he busts a knuckle or sprains an ankle or tears a groin muscle, his haters, because he does have haters, and you know what? I don't blame people hating the guy. He's not exactly the most likable fella in the world. So if he breaks something tomorrow, if he hurts himself, people are going to laugh and laugh. I will not be partaking in the laughter. But let me tell you something. I might just play a laugh track. Why not? Also, I want to ask people, call in. Don't forget the StreamYard link is in there as well, so you can jump on StreamYard if you're outside of North America. I want to get your opinions on this Teofimo Lopez trill boxing thing, because I'm hearing different opinions on that, and I'm curious to really find the middle here and get to the bottom of what's going on. Speaking of bottoms, we got Gonzalo. Gonzalo, congratulations, by the way, on the new addition to the family. So what's up, Gonzalo?
Hey, thanks, PDA. What's up, Bucho?
What's up, man?
So did you finally decide on the name thing?
That's a good candidate.
Well, good.
Julio Cesar Chavez.
Yeah.
Julio
I'm
Cesar
deciding on
Chavez.
that.
Julio Cesar Chavez, Puas, Salvador Sanchez.
Emmanuel's a nice name.
Manuel, yeah,
Emmanuel,
it's
because you can say it in English or Spanish. Emmanuel, Emmanuel, right?
Yeah. And when he grows up, when your kid grows up, he can dress like a Cuban with the Cuban hat and a cigar, and people can always go see him. Hey, Manny, how you doing? It's like in the movies, Manny. Hey, Manny. You never know. I'm giving you solid advice here, man. Let me tell you, for free. So yeah, listen, man. Gonzalo, what do you think about tomorrow? Are you even gonna watch Canelo's fight tomorrow? Is it worth staying up? Actually, it's over daytime for you over there, but are you even gonna get up to watch that fight? Or?
Yeah, sure, no problem, of course.
Well, it's Gonzalo. Of course, he's gonna watch it. I think I'm gonna watch it too, even though I'm crapping on the fight. But you know what? Gonzalo, for the most part, Canelo makes for entertaining fights, right? Even when he fights scrubs like Rocky Fielding and all that.
Yeah, he's pretty entertaining. And he shows a lot of wrinkles in his games. I don't know how much more complete of a fighter he can become. The only thing that's missing, and I don't think that really can improve, is the condition. Well, it has actually. He's been able to pace himself better. Whether that's because he's pacing himself better or he's on those substances, I don't know. But he's got that down.
Are you happy that he wants to fight 4 times this year?
Yeah, how many times did he fight last year? Once or twice?
Once.
Jacob? No.
Yeah, it's good that he fights 2 or 3 times this year and take those get those mandatories out of the way and stay limber, with the tune-ups. It's better, because he's not like in his. He's in his prime, but he needs to stay. It's like if you stay out of the ring so long, the rust and that could be worse.
Hey, I was watching. It's a free-for-all show right now. We're waiting for people to jump onto the StreamYard link right there in the chat, and of course you can call in. I was watching Castillejo versus De La Hoya, and De La Hoya was showing up more head movement, and I couldn't help but wonder, it's a lot like a Canelo. I wonder who would have won between De La Hoya and Canelo. I'm talking. Okay, one of the
on a tangent here. Remember, you probably don't remember. It was I remember the trailer for De La Hoya Castillejo, and then there was like the narrator of the trailer. No, the trailer. What's it called? The pre-fight.
The preview, yeah.
Preview. Like, if you like underdogs, then you must like Javier Castillejo's chances. I'm like, why?
Well, he was a good fighter at that time. Europe, because right now we go, oh come on, Europe is good. European fighters are good, but back then in the early 2000s, people looked at Europeans and went, they're not fighting the best. And Castillejo, he'd fought guys like Laurent Boudani and all that, but he never really fought anybody that was caliber. So people. But he was good, man. Castillejo was good. Hey, he went 12 rounds against De La Hoya. Vargas couldn't do it.
They fought somebody else. Anyways, nobody probably remembers this guy.
But what the reason why I brought it up is I do wonder who would have won between, let's say, the De La Hoya that fought Hopkins, which was one of the best versions of De La Hoya we've ever seen, against, let's say, the Canelo that fought Triple G the second time. Because, the reason why I bring that up is because right now, for me, the best fight for Canelo is still Triple G. You could say Caleb Plant is fresher. You could say that Benavidez is... Listen, here's my thing with Benavidez. Charlo,
apparently... Canelo mentioned something about Charlo, apparently, that he wants to fight him or he needs to fight him.
Well, what do you guys think? What about Charlo? I'd be excited for that one. How about you?
Okay, so here's a question for everybody then. Like, should we forget about Golovkin in the chat? Like it's just, I mean, we wanted that fight, but at this point, I think most people have this idea now that Golovkin is past his prime. So, do you actually want to see a third fight, guys?
Yeah, fuck the chat. Call in, guys. You can call
Call in,
or
yeah,
jump on the StreamYard and tell it to us too. I mean, chat's fine. What I'm saying is, if you want to talk to us directly, hey, StreamYard right there, and you get the phone number there. But that's a good question, yeah, because he's got options. But I have heard people complaining like, oh, Canelo right now, there's no mega fight, Bucho. That's what they're saying.
Nobody can beat him. Yeah. Well,
But I disagree, man. Go ahead, Gonzalo. Go ahead. I want to hear from Gonzalo.
yeah, Gonzalo.
Why couldn't Canelo get away from Triple G's jab that easily? Triple G got a great jab, but he's not really that fast. He's slowing down, but still, anyways, we got this master fighter that can slip punches like Canelo, the defensive fighter. Why couldn't he slip Triple G's jab if it's not all that fast? Now with Charlo, he's gonna be faster. The jab is gonna be just as stiff. He's gonna have a little bit of a longer reach on that. So I mean, why were all these other fighters like Kovalev and these other guys? Callum, how come they weren't able to penetrate with their jab just like Triple G did? So I'm kind of curious to understand that, and I do a little bit, but I'm pretty sure people are wondering the same thing.
I mean,
what?
Kovalev, yeah. I don't know.
If I may give my opinion, I think that it's a different type of jab. Kovalev has always had that weird style, and we talked about it here, how the Russian style of shadow boxing where they really turn on their punches. It looks bizarre sometimes when they're shadow boxing. It seems funny in a way, but they're really about turning that wrist at the last minute and just snapping it. Golovkin seems to me to be more of a stiff puncher with that jab, whereas Kovalev's jab, it's more of he doesn't even fully extend it sometimes. It's almost just like a flicker that's hard. And against Canelo, every time, I'm telling you, I've seen that fight 3 times now. Every time he wanted to commit with a jab, Canelo would counter him to the body or with looping shots upstairs. It's what we call in Spanish volados. And he would catch him with those shots, and Kovalev would go, oh shit, I don't want to commit anymore, because if I commit my firepower, he comes back with quicker shots. I think that's what happened in that fight. I'm still open to the possibility that there were some shenanigans. I'm still open to the possibility that maybe Kovalev was getting tired, getting outboxed by the shorter guy, and he just said, you know what? Just gonna take a knee or something, just quit. But again, I do agree with Pucho though that theory doesn't make that much sense when you look at the way he fell, the way he got hit in the chin. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. It's different types of jabs. You guys think Charlo's jab is about as good, if not just maybe a little less strong than Golovkin's?
Man, I don't know, but it's faster.
It's faster, yeah. It's stiff. It's a good jab. Talking about the older Charlo, right? It's a good jab.
Yeah.
Jermol, yeah. Yeah, listen, against Derevchenko, he really shot that thing out there and busted him up real nice. I like that performance against Derevchenko.
Triple G's got an educated jab. Charlo's probably got an educated jab too, where he's gonna throw it out continuously.
Yeah, exactly. He's consistent with it. That's what I like. Listen, let's go to a phone call real quick. We got a phone call. Don't forget, fellas, phone calls are open. StreamYard's open. Let's go to 612. 612, you're on the air. 612, what's on your mind?
Yeah, hey. What's up?
How you doing, man?
What's up, guys? Can you hear me? You guys are kind of choppy.
Yeah, we can hear you, man. Hopefully you can hear as well.
Yeah, no, I think Charlo beats Canelo. I don't see him getting around that jab. I think Trout kind of showed us how Charlo might beat Canelo. Trout was holding Canelo off. I mean, even Lara with the jab, and just and Charlo is a way better fighter than Trout was back when Canelo fought Trout. And I don't even know if Canelo can take Charlo's power. I can see him getting stopped. Yeah. What do you guys think?
Well, what gives you the indication that Canelo can be stopped by Charlo?
Well, I still think Canelo. I think that Canelo's chinny. That Miguel Cotto fight. Not the Miguel Cotto fight, but Cotto's brother fight, Abner Cotto's fight. I think. I mean, that was a pretty weak. That was a pretty weak hook right there that he almost got stopped from. So, we haven't. I didn't think GGG really tested his chin. I don't know. I mean, who's really tested his chin since then? You know.
Well, wait. Well, you're saying
Charlo's testing his chin. Charlo's fast.
Okay, but
Yeah.
caller, let's look at this from all angles. That was Canelo, who was what, 20 years old? He looked like he was 15, by the way, in that fight.
Right.
Right. So he was a very, very young.
But does your chin get better?
Well, first of all, it wasn't on the chin, was it? I think it was on the temple.
Oh, it was. I don't remember.
But I mean,
Yeah.
come on. I mean, if I would have asked you after that fight, hey, do you think Canelo can take Miguel Cotto's shots, or Golovkin's shots, or Jacob's shots, or James Kirkland shots? You think he could take him? What would you have said back then?
No, I wouldn't have. But speaking of Kirkland, even Kirkland kind of hurt him early in the round. Or during the
That's
first
true.
round,
Yeah, he did hurt him. A lot of people didn't notice that.
I just see Charlo. Yeah, I just see Charlo catching him with his fast counters. Charlo's pretty quick, and he's really good at setting up those, especially that uppercut. And I could see Canelo getting caught with one of those. And if he doesn't get caught, I could see him getting outboxed by Charlo. I just think he's susceptible to getting outboxed. He hasn't fought as good a boxer at this high level since Ford and Trout and Lara, and he struggled with all of those guys. So I think Charlo is big enough and just fast enough and just strong enough to beat him. But yeah,
so
that's
you
my call.
You think Charlo's better than Golovkin and Jacobs, and you think he would do that much better than those guys?
I think he's better than Jacobs. Yeah, I think he's a better boxer than Jacobs. I think he's
What?
Jacobs,
Let me ask you. I'm just curious. What has he done to make you think that he's better than Jacobs, better than Golovkin, better than Miguel Cotto even? Like, what has he shown you, and which fights specifically?
I guess it's just the eye test, but his last fight was pretty impressive. His last fight was really impressive. I mean, yeah, I think I became more of a Charlo believer after his last fight.
Well, because there's a flip side to that coin. I mean, the last 3 rounds, he was getting outworked by
Derevchenko.
Yeah.
Yeah, Derevchenko. Yeah,
he was getting outworked the last 3 rounds, man. Shorter, older guy was having his way with him. So, I mean, I agree with you. I think Charlo gives him a good fight. Here's the thing about Charlo, and guys, you can jump in if you want. The thing about Charlo that I think would give Canelo problems is the fact that he's got a combination of length, explosiveness with his shots, and like you said, he's got that good timing. I don't think it would be easy for Charlo. I disagree. I don't think he would have his way with Canelo. But look, I think at this point he's proven that at least in the first 8 rounds, it's going to be pretty hard to beat him. That's for sure. Gonzalo, Bucho, what do you guys think?
Yeah, it's going to be a strategic fight. I mean, the way to beat a counter puncher like Charlo's to counter the counter puncher. So it'll be strategic. They both got respectable power. Maybe Charlo hit a little harder because he's naturally bigger. But then Canelo hit harder to the body. It'll depend on who's winning the earlier rounds. And if the guy that's winning feels that he's in control of the fight, then he'll be able to, coast, to, maybe win a decision.
Yeah,
depending
caller.
on what's going on the scorecard.
Let me ask you this in regards to Charlo. He struggled with Trout too, and of course he struggled. Kobrov, yeah, I was gonna bring. What happened in the Kobrov fight in your opinion? How good is Kobrov, and how does that bode for Canelo? Well, he left. All right. Well, thank you for your call, man. Yeah, look, listen, I disagree with him when he said it was going to be easy, but I do give Charlo a...
He said easy.
He said easy, yeah. I was surprised by that. But look, hey, listen, anybody, it's your show,
I
you
don't
call
even
in.
think Charlo can move like Lara.
By the way, that Lara fight, man, that is a definition of running. Because people say, for example...
That's what I keep telling people, man.
people say Lomachenko ran against Lopez. Watch that fight again. He would move, and then he would be the one that would get close to Lopez.
Yeah,
Lara was.
He didn't throw enough. We can agree that Lomachenko didn't throw enough punches.
Mm-hmm.
But he was there in front of Teofimo Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
Teofimo Lopez was throwing single shots, but I mean he wasn't running. If he was running, then he would have been out of distance.
Mm-hmm.
He was.
Yeah, he was moving away and then coming back in. Lara continually moving to the point where it seemed comical at some points. Like he would duck under one of the shots.
He took it like he jumped back. Like I don't know if you can call it a lunge back or whatever. He literally like jumped back.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird, man.
Extremely weird. It was. But look, listen. He tasted the body shots, and that's when he said, "Screw this." See, I think people just don't understand how hard Canelo hits. I mean, I remember prior to the first Golovkin fight, people were saying, "Oh, Golovkin's going to walk through him," and I kept telling people, "Look, Canelo, okay," because that was a main argument, right? Remember that Butcher was like, "Well, he could knock out Miguel Cotto, but he doesn't have to be knocking these guys out. All he has to do is hurt him." We saw that with Oscar Valdez versus Burchelt. You know, Gonzalo picked Valdez to knock out Burchelt, so evidently he saw that he had power. But a lot of people were thinking, well, if he couldn't stop Quig or Marriaga, then how's he going to stop Burchelt? It's about the contrast of styles. It's about the other guy's defense. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is styles make fights. And fundamentally, one guy will always have power. Yeah, he might not be... Yeah, the thing with Canelo is one of the reasons why sometimes he doesn't score knockouts is because he's just not that active. Remember I told you that on average he throws about 400 shots, with the exception being the second Golovkin fight where he really tried to step it up and it was about 600 punches. But even then, like, he's not going to go above 600. So, Butcher, do you think he was laying a beating on Callum Smith?
Beating, not really. Somewhat later. That arm looked kind of weird. He was throwing hard shots.
There was a point.
It kind of looked like a beating because Callum Smith wasn't doing anything.
Hey, I'm gonna do.
But in terms of damage, I have to watch it again.
Yeah,
because that's the definition of a beating, I guess. How much damage the other guy is getting.
Yeah, rewatch it, man. You're gonna see he looked worn down. But it's just again Canelo likes to take his time. He likes to plod forwards a little bit, play defense. So, but he was trying to stop Smith. Actually, in the 12th round, he sort of let him off a little bit off the hook. They were smiling at each other, jawing and talking as if they were going to go for a beer afterwards. But I don't see a lot of people standing up to that type of firepower. He's got underrated power, is what I'm saying. Hey, by the way, fellas, don't forget, StreamYard is open. This is your show. This is your time. Jump on in. Let us know what you think about Canelo's fight, what's down the road for him, this whole Teofimo Lopez thing. Hey, speaking of
something about Teofimo Lopez. We can start talking about that.
Sure, absolutely.
Well, so he will be fighting with Triller, right? It's called Triller. It's not TH. It's TR.
Yeah,
Triller.
Right? Triller. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So he will be fighting in an undercard for a Triller event. And in that event, a main event, is going to be another celebrity. So apparently they're the ones that were involved in Tyson versus Roy Jones. So expect that main event to be another celebrity type of match. Maybe it's Mike Tyson against somebody else, or maybe it's like a YouTuber. Who the fuck knows? But what we do know is that Teofimo will be fighting in that undercard. So, S between it says Michael Jackson Thriller. Yeah. So the question is this a good move by Teofimo Lopez? For him, yes, I guess he's getting 6 million. No, he's getting 4 million or something like that. He's getting paid more than what Bob Arum was offering him. So yeah, good for Teofimo Lopez. But why is some fans celebrating? Like, now you have to watch Teofimo Lopez fight, you have to pay for a pay-per-view, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of Teofimo Lopez fighting on ESPN. So why are people so happy about this? I don't understand.
Yeah, man, listen, I understand his fans celebrating and saying, oh, he got the money. But I got to be a little bit selfish here as a boxing fan who pays for the Zone and for TSN, which is like the ESPN equivalent here in Canada to watch the ESPN cards, pay-per-views and all that. And I'm thinking, how does this benefit us, man? So if I want to watch, if I want to watch Teofimo Lopez fight, I gotta pay. Now, of course, the good thing is, Butch, open market, free market. If I don't want to watch the fight, I don't have to. Especially this type of fight where he's not fighting David Haney, he's not rematching Lomachenko, he's not taking on Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis. So,
I mean, if a Teofimo Lopez fight should have been a pay-per-view, should have been the Lomachenko fight. That was, but that was on ESPN. So, good job, Top Rank. But now, his next fight against Camboso, well, that's his name, right? Camboso?
Kombucha.
Kombucha. That fight's gonna be on pay-per-view, basically. So, I don't know why fans are happy about this. Again, I don't understand.
Well, listen, I think Steve Kim said it best, man. When I'm gonna put up the tweet that he put up, he tweeted earlier, or 4 hours ago. He says, people can't see it. Hold on, let me zoom in here. He says it's interesting that the same fans who talk about wanting to have fighters be come on, why isn't this shit? All right, hold on, give me 2 seconds. Anyway, listen, hey Bucho, by the way, let me ask you something. Did you watch the Roy Jones? What's his name? Roy Jones versus Mike Tyson fight?
Yeah.
I didn't even watch it. I didn't even.
The only good thing about that fight was Snoop Dogg, because he was commentating. He was making a bunch of jokes.
He seems like.
But other than that, the fight was he wasn't that good, exciting. And Roy Jones' style, you can tell, like he because he relied on athleticism, but at 50 something, like his style is useless at this point. Like, useless.
Did they let them roid? Because that would have been fun if they would have.
They should have. Mike Tyson, man, I think he's roided now.
Well, he certainly seems like it, yeah.
Just look at his body. I don't know. Well,
hey, if Roy Jones
let them roid, man.
If Roy Jones roided up again, and if he injected something on his knees, something to repair his knees, man, I would have paid for that. But I didn't pay for it anyway. So the Steve Kim tweet is, he says, it's interesting, the same fans who talk about want to have fighters be paid as well as possible will regularly stream those same pay-per-view events and take money out of their pockets. All right, that's number one. That's actually not the tweet that I wanted to show you, fellas, but hold on a second. Okay, so he asks, so just so we're clear, the quality of the fight still matters, right? Or is it just about the boxers? Is it just about what the boxers make at this point? That's true. I mean, which one is it, guys? Do you want to see the good fights, or are you counting another man's money? Because I remember, man, after after Lopez beat Lomachenko, I was looking ahead and I said, okay, so what could be the biggest fight for Lopez outside of a Lomachenko rematch? And Ryan Garcia had that Campbell fight lined up, and I said, you know what? If he beats Campbell in impressive fashion, that's a super fight with Lopez right there. And some people were telling me, oh, why are you worrying about Garcia's and Lopez's money, blah, blah, blah. You should talk about Lopez moving up to 140. I said, all right, good, fair point. But now you got Lopez fans saying, oh, yeah, he's making this great money. That's good for him. And I'm thinking, all right, yeah, it's good for him. But what about for us? I'm just looking at it from our perspective. We're paying, like I said, we're paying for
were these guys celebrating when they found out that the Teofimo Lopez-Lomachenko fight wasn't going to be on pay-per-view?
You know what?
Because it seems to me like they're more happy. There's more of a celebration now that Teofimo's getting $4 million or something like that. He's fighting with Triller in another card, fighting in the co-main event again. With the main event's probably gonna be some YouTuber, and so this requires some sort of celebration.
That's a great question, man. That's a great question, and I got another hypothetical or theoretical question here, or rather rhetorical question. Were people counting Valdez and Burchell's money last week? Like, nobody was talking about how much money they were making.
How much did Valdez make? I want to know.
It's a good question. I
want to know if I can celebrate.
They probably
or if I should call up Bob Arum. Who was involved in that fight? Was it a Top Rank fight?
Yeah, it was.
So I want to know if I should contact Bob Arum or send him an email, because I want Valdez to be paid handsomely.
Yeah, this is the dialogue we're trying to open here, fellas. We're trying to decide like what's going on right now with boxing, where people. Like, I understand it's good for Teofimo Lopez. We're not gonna be sending him checks when he's retired, but we are in a way paying for him right now with our subscriptions, and like I said,
some of these boxers, like, well, they're not gonna be talking about me or helping me out when I'm retired. Yeah, but we're helping you right now, man.
But you got that's the other thing. When people say, "Well, Lopez, he just wants to get paid what he's worth," if I remember correctly, I think he signed a contract that says that minimum he gets paid 1.5 mil or something like that. I think I need somebody to call in and correct us on this. Now he wants more than that. It's you can I don't know if he can renegotiate.
If somebody's willing to pay the like 4 million for his services, or that's fine. Like, I have nothing against it. It's free market.
Mm-hmm.
It should be.
Well, that's what I don't know if you heard what happened there with because Bob Arum said, "Oh yeah, Triller, good on them, man, for getting this fight because he still gets his 25%." But the guy that really got Bob Arum's ire was Eddie Hearn, and he said that Eddie Hearn screwed him for trying to interject here and trying to steal the fight. He says, "This is what happens. You pay the I forget how much he had to pay to actually get to bid." So he actually lost money on this transaction, Eddie Hearn, and Bob Arum was making fun of him. And Hearn said, he finally replied back earlier today, this from Boxing Scene. He said, they let it get to this, Hearn told Boxing Scene. Teofimo Lopez took the chance for small money to fight Lomachenko because he believed in himself. But guess what? When he won, they wouldn't give it to him. And at this point, the problem has been caused by Top Rank. And he says, he's getting pissed off at me for bidding. You got to watch yourself now, he says. Fuck off. It's an open market. And it's true. Like, why is Bob Arum pissed off? I mean, he bid a certain amount. Eddie Hearn said, "Hey, listen, I want this fight in the zone." And by the way, Bucho, some people are saying the fact that Hearn tried to bid for this fight means that the zone is in trouble, that they're desperate, and he's trying to help the zone out. What do you think?
Shouldn't it be the opposite?
Yeah, it should.
Trouble in what sense of trouble? Like, they don't have money or what?
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point.
Then why are they bidding for a fight that costs money? It doesn't make sense.
Fellas, don't forget, StreamYard is open. This is your chance to call in. Phone line right there open as well. The phone number's there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. Call in or jump on StreamYard. Butcher, we got a phone call. Let's get to
Let's take it.
Let's take it. Dropped out. All right. Let me read a couple of comments here, Bucho. Okay. One Foot Out the Door says, a certain desert tribe focuses on the money aspect. SSB says, you are correct, BDA, on Teofimo's contract. All right, shout out to SSB for clarifying that. Amak PvP says, boxing promoters need to stop making half-ass fights and then cry about not getting the money they feel they deserve. Yeah, all these guys. Yeah, that's the other thing. Remember Bob Arum, like I said in the last episode, Bob Arum's the guy who said, hey, listen, people only care about the main event. I'll give him a shit undercard. That's, they don't care. All right. Well, don't be surprised when everything starts going to hell. By the way, we got the phone caller back here, the caller. 646, you're on the air. 646, what's on your mind?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air, man.
Yeah, I just want to talk about the Teofimo, like what you guys were talking about, this whole Chua thing. It's like...
Hey, hold on, caller, before you continue. Caller, before you continue, are you on speakerphone?
No, I'm on the mic. Hold on, let me just...
Yeah, get.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, now fantastic. Go ahead, speak your piece, please.
Okay. No, this whole Triller thing is like, well, I don't want to defend Bob Arum because Bob Arum, he's been leeching around fighters since the 80s, the 70s,
exactly.
When boxing was first being revolutionized. But the thing is especially with this pandemic and with Terrence Crawford and with Teofimo, it's like these are specific particular cases, Teofimo is a special case in and of itself, in the sense that Teofimo just got his talking point, and Teofimo always wanted to be fuck you to all these other guys, you know what I mean? So and he's winning every other point. He beat Lomachenko didn't have a fucking contract, a rematch clause, so when he beat him, and then the way that he beat him, plus the fact that he was already being lowball, and plus the other three guys in his weight class that didn't want to fight Lomachenko, that already is a huge thing on his chest. And with this whole Triller thing, it's like, now Teofimo is not going to stop bullshitting. His shit talking is going to go to 100 now. He's never going to stop. And I don't want to defend Bob Arum, but with Bob Arum, I think what Bob Arum is trying to say is these Triller is trying to come into boxing and trying to create a name for themselves. Just like when PBC was first coming in the scene and they had a bunch of money from the investors, and they was just dishing out money to all these fighters, hoping that everyone would sign with them and they could price out every other competition and all the other promotions. And it didn't happen. And that Dazen, the Zone did the same thing with giving out these big, huge number contracts, $300 million to Canelo, and hoping that they would create a huge shakedown in the market. But it didn't happen because they couldn't play the thing. Canelo wasn't happy. He had to. So it was people like Bob Arum. I think what they're trying to say is they've been around. I mean, Bob Arum's been around since since forever. He was used to giving Ali percentages of his own fight based on what he sold. So in a pandemic where seats can't even be sold, how is he going to pay? Someone like Teofimo that's just up and coming and that just got his first big fight. That just won his first big fight. $3-4 million. When he, like you said earlier, when his guarantee was 1 point something. You know what I mean? If there's new guys coming in the scene trying to make a name for themselves, are dishing out whatever amount of money just to make a name for this, that's different. That's a special case.
Yeah, caller.
I just don't understand.
You bring up the great.
Bob is gonna be able to keep giving.
You bring up the great point that if Lopez now is getting because they have to split that $6 million side fee. Let's say he gets 3 point something mil. How much is he gonna want?
Right.
Once they start negotiating with Lomachenko again, or with Devin Haney, or with Ryan Garcia, he's more well known
exactly
because
what I'm saying. He's already. Tio is already asking $10 million. He's like, now I'm the big dog. I have all the belts, so give me $10 million for Haney. Haney is people are forgetting, you have to sell seats and generate revenue for you to get a big chunk of that percent. If you're generating $10 million and you want $6 million for yourself because, promoters are taking all this and that, then it's totally fine. But in a pandemic where seats can't even be sold, how are we going to give you $4 million when we are generating $1 million and you're going to come back and say this and that? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like I've said before, some of these guys, they think that their talent and their skills are commensurate with what they should be receiving, or they want to get paid $4 million for because they're talented, but that's not the way it works. It's show business. Boxing is show business. So let me ask you this, caller. Let's say they do Tyson versus Holyfield 3 in that Triller app, and in the undercard they put Teofimo Lopez. Would you pay for that card?
See, that's the thing is even if I didn't pay for that card, Tyson probably versus Holyfield, I think because Tyson versus Roy Jones already did insane amount of numbers. People, real life boxers couldn't do that kind of numbers. I mean, these retired old guys are doing more pay-per-views than those. So it's it would be justified for Teofimo to get a large amount of money in a Tyson versus Holyfield. And I mean, I would personally not pay specifically for Tyson versus Holyfield, but I could see a lot of people buying into that just for Tyson Holyfield, and then Teofimo just rolling into that undercard.
Now, would a lot of people who would pay for Tyson and Holyfield 3, do you think they'd be hardcore boxing fans or just mainstream?
No. I don't think anybody in boxing, I mean us included, when we talk about fight, even in fight fans, in Discord, this Discord, other Discords, I never hear nobody talks about Tyson versus Holyfield. That's not something. I mean, it's great that they're generating income and stuff like that, but nobody in the boxing scene. This whole YouTube brings eyes in boxing. These YouTubers bring eyes in boxing. Tyson is bringing. Nobody cares about that. Boxing, beyond the Floyd era, we're just recovering from that. New stars are coming in, new storylines, new. You know what I mean? New drama, everything is revamping just now. We don't want to go into that. I mean, of course, those fights are going to do well, and then those, old guys are going to retire with this money and stuff like that. But I don't know. I've never seen I haven't seen friends around me get excited or in Discord and public forums get excited about Tyson versus Holyfield. They had their era, and then it's great that they're able to generate like this kind of hype through like Mike Tyson hitting a few pads and everybody wanting to buy into that fight, and like a bunch of guys that were around like boxing fans back in the day wanting to buy that pay-per-view. But like I don't think. I mean, do you want to see Tyson versus Holyfield? I don't know.
No, I didn't even watch Roy Jones versus Tyson. I didn't pay for it, didn't stream it, didn't pirate it, didn't do anything. I went to sleep. Listen, caller, we got to move on to another phone call, but great call, fantastic points. Call back again next time, all right, man?
All right, man.
Thank you for your call. All right, great points raised by that last caller. Let's go to 214. 214, you're on the air. 214, what's on your mind?
Hello, guys. Yeah, that got the last caller really hit it on the head with Teofimo. He's in my opinion, he's fairly new. He's fairly fresh. He's only got 16 fights. I don't think how he can. I know people think that just because you beat Lomachenko, he wasn't even really selling like that. Mm-hmm. I heard that he wasn't really like that. They did Top Rank did a good job hyping him up because he's popular. I've seen a lot of videos around where he gets like millions of views, but I don't think he's like that popular enough. Like it didn't translate into like money wise.
Yeah, they tried to push him. They tried real hard to get him to be a mainstream star, but he just never. He was always on the cusp, but he just never caught on. You're right, yeah, and that's why some people actually believe that maybe Bob Arum actually wanted Teofimo Lopez to win that fight because he's younger, he's got more upside. But now, caller, it seems like it's backfiring on old Bob Arum. What do you think happens from here on out with Teofimo Lopez and with Top Rank?
It is. I made a video about it on my channel. I said if Teofimo wins this fight, his ego is going to go through the roof. And sure enough, it did because he doesn't understand the business of boxing. That's why that's why Mayweather did what he did. That's why he was talking so much shit, so he could not only be the pound for pound number one, but so he can bring in the most revenue, put asses in the seats.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can be the best fighter, and that's what Ellerby said, that you can be the best fighter, but are you do you put asses in the seats? So Mayweather, he did both of it. So that's why I think that's why he was so special, because he was able to. He was high on the skill level, and he was able to bring in a lot of people to watch him. And
hey, first of all,
let me.
What's your channel, by the way?
Yeah, go ahead. Huh?
What's your channel? You say you have a YouTube channel. You want to plug it?
Boxing learning.
Boxing learning. All right. Yeah. Let me ask you this, man. When Teofimo Lopez says he wants more money, right? Do you think he actually wants to rematch Lomachenko? No, because he went on a pretty good run, man. Aristotle, Comey, Nakatani. Even though Nakatani proved more problematic than he expected. Then Lomachenko. Do you think it's just him actually being a little greedy, but at the same time saying, hey, look, if I'm fighting all these killers, I want a little something more? Like, who do you agree with, Bob Arum or Teofimo Lopez, or are you in between?
I'm in between. I think, my channel is Boxing Learner. My bad. I keep on calling
it Learner. Okay.
But I think I'm in between because I think he did do good. I think he should get, paid more than his minimum, of course, but I don't think he should be getting paid like $3 million, $4 million just yet. You gotta keep on. You gotta keep on winning and winning.
Mm-hmm.
You got add more to your repertoire because he really just started. Like I said, he only had 16 fights. You don't know what might happen. So he might get knocked out in a couple of fights, and he may never be the same or something like that.
Yeah, I think the problem is.
I guess that's why he's also thinking like that. Maybe I might get knocked out, and maybe I should get as much money as I can. So, that's why I say both ways,
Yeah, man, listen, outside the ring, too, he seems to have his wife seems to be the type of wife that starts telling him stuff like, these guys are taking too much money away from you, 15%, they're not worth 15, and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? It's like, could be the type of wife that creates more trouble than it deserves. I don't know, but by the way, what do you think, caller, of this whole situation where fans are counting another guy's money. You know, fans are counting these fighters' money and talking about how great a move is. But how about for us fans? What does this move mean for us fanatics of boxing? That now we got to pay to watch Lopez fight against a guy that's not really that good. Like, what do you think about that?
Counting cash, I don't do that. You know, I think they should get paid, but I don't think they should be trying to like put it out there. You know, they should leave that behind closed doors. You know, like I said, I think they should be getting paid good, but we shouldn't be like that. Shouldn't be really that much of our business. And what was the other part of the question?
I actually forgot what the other part of the question was. No, I think it was why people are counting their money, and is that something that shouldn't be? Hey, by the way, how much did Burchelt and Valdez get paid? Are you aware of that?
No, I didn't even care. All I care about was the fight.
So that's
I was very excited for the fight.
See, that's the great point. Then, what, you know, we didn't care about the money from last week. Why do we care now about Lopez's money?
I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, once you get fanboys, you know, people will continue to defend you. You know, that's the worst thing when fighters get fanboys. You know, that's why I kind of like my fighters to be a little bit unpopular, so they don't have fanboys.
That's actually a good point, man. Yeah, I've thought about that. When people say, "Oh, I wish boxing was more popular," it's like, yeah, you're gonna get more casuals coming in that you're gonna have to deal with. So people talking about the money and this and that. Yeah.
Yeah, their logic is crazy. Some of the stuff they come up with, you know, when Mayweather was the top dog, they would come up with all types of stupid logic. Oh, he can't be beaten. Or other fighters been beaten, so that means he can't lose. I'm like, what? It was just kind of weird. But you know, we are recovering from the post Mayweather area, you know.
Mm-hmm. How much do you think that Pacquiao Mayweather fight itself hurt boxing? Because some people say that, and I'm still not sure what they like. Yeah,
it hurt boxing really good because they were expecting it to be like an ultra fight, but man, Mayweather wasn't really giving any Pacquiao. Pacquiao really should have kind of did more because I heard he hurt him, but then he got him on the ropes, and then Floyd he covered up, but he was never able to get through his high guard. That's what I was kind of like, damn. You know, if that was Lomachenko, I think Lomachenko would have been at least be able to get through his high guard. Because, you know, Lomachenko does that thing where he pulls down on your guard, and then he comes around with a hook. Yeah. But, you know, Pacquiao, like, Floyd wasn't giving him anything. But, you know, Pacquiao had an opportunity, but by the time he realized he was hurt, Floyd got on the ropes and just covered up. But the fight, it just didn't deliver. It just failed, and they got a lot of money for that fight too. Ridiculous amount of money.
It's $100 million or something like that, man. Insane money, insane. But at that point, they deserved it. I mean, they'd beaten almost everybody. So, but listen, 214. We gotta go.
That's true.
We gotta go. Move on. But thank you for your call, and don't forget, everybody, check out Boxing Learner, our caller's channel here. Check it out. It better be good, Boxing Learner. Otherwise, we're gonna leave some bad comments for you, right, man?
Okay.
All right, take it easy, man. Thank you for calling.
All comments are welcome.
All right, fantastic. Take it easy, man. Thank you for calling. All right, that was Boxing Learner bringing up some good points. Yeah, it's an interesting point there. Like, why are people counting? Like, we didn't count Burchelt and Valdez's money. Why are we suddenly talking about?
He left Bob Arum. Great move. Like, who helped create Teofimo Lopez's career? Basically, who brought him up through the ranks and everything? It's Bob Arum. I'm not saying Bob is a saint or anything, but I don't understand why they're celebrating this move. But he's still with Bob Arum, by the way. I just want to say, guys, hit the like button, please. That's really going to help BDA Boxing. Also, there's 2 super chats, Mr. BDA. So I don't know if you can see them.
Can you read them? Because for some reason I can't scroll back and forward between here. Okay,
John Gonzalez. He says no one is going to help BDA when he retires at 75 in a year from his Burger King job.
So I'm 74 now.
You're 74, man.
Yeah.
He found out the truth.
I'm actually 64, but anyway, go ahead.
Jaguar, thank you for your contribution. He says, good show. Well, thank you for listening to BDA Boxing. We have Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Gentlemen, what's going on, boys?
How you doing, Jimmy?
What's up?
Hey, you know, I'm doing.
Yeah, I heard that you're doing. Listen, we're talking about the whatchamacallit. Well, we're talking about a lot of
Teofimo
things.
Lopez thing.
Yeah.
Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
What
right.
do you think about that? What's
I
going
mean,
on?
all right, well, I mean, look at good for him is the fact he was able to get the biggest payday because you never know. This could be his last fight. You'd always get killed in the ring. I always think fighters should get the most they can. But now let me preface by also saying there's always been in boxing, no matter who it is, I don't give a fuck. It's a fucking 8-8, rugby dude who goes in and takes beatings just to get, put names up for the other guys to the greatest fighter ever. Usually there's a bond with your promoter because the promoter, like you were just saying, Bucho, loses money on you for usually the first few years. Now, there's a lot of things behind the scenes like we're not privy to. There's conversations, and I guarantee one was, okay, so let me see. I lost money on this fight, that fight, this fight. You know what I mean? Like I'm starting to just see, an investment on you. And again, if he was holding him, say if Teofimo was taking on, name any one of the fucking guys that we'd like to see him fight, right? We're taking on them, and he was getting lowballed, and it's like, wow, I'm fighting this guy. Dude, he's fighting this dude that there's probably, unless Teofimo falls going in the ring and opens his head up, there's no chance of him losing. And suddenly he wants, I want $3 fucking million. Now, everybody wants $3 million, but does the market fucking determine that? Right. Meaning, are you worth that? Who's going to pay that? Okay, so now you got another like Triller. So there's a very good reason why I went on Twitter too and saw it, and it's always usual suspects. The same people who always slam Bob. He's a racist. He's a bigot. He sucks. It's always them. They're like, yeah. But like short-term memory loss. Remember the same shit was being said when a few of fucking top-ranked boxers left back in 2015 to go with Rock Nation, who spent, remember, obscene money. Came in, the hip-hop angle was going to change everything. They were going to change the culture of boxing. That was couldn't have been more of a disaster. And what's going to happen now? Now, check, this is how it's going to be. If those tickets for Lopez, Callum, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Campbell. Yeah.
Say if it's $70 a piece, right? Mm-hmm. Remember, the provider takes 50%. I see a lot of people making videos. It's got to hit this mark. People always forget. When you go to pay-per-view, you don't own pay-per-view. Like, to get it into people's homes and all that, that takes, servers and all this other shit. There's things in place. There's companies who do that. And for time immemorial, they receive 50% of the pay-per-view. So let's just assume that's the case here. So that means that $70 a piece, I know some people throwing it's going to be $50, which is going to have to make it even more. But let's just say for the sake of argument, it's $70. That means this fight's going to have to sell a minimum of 170 plus 171,000 pay-per-views just to break even. Now, I don't even think it's going to hit that. I think this kid, listen, he's jumped about 6 runs on the pay-per-view ladder. It's not how it works. You know what I mean? To earn that. So, yes, good on him. He's going to end up making $2 million more than he normally would have made on this fight. But now it's at the cost of ESPN's exposure, because ESPN's partnering up with Bobby Yo. They're not happy. It's going to be on a pay-per-view that next to nobody's going to buy. So, you know what I mean? So, and then, never mind, the relationship with fucking Top Rank is done. Bob, I guarantee you, hates the kid. Like, I guarantee Bob he's not joking when he says they can buy the kid's contract. I don't give a fuck. Bob's been around forever. Everybody's acting like, oh, if you lose him, they're going to shut the doors. It's not going to happen. And believe me, I know Bob is like all promoters are a weasel. But right now, you look at name these 2 fights. Berchelt, Valdez, Lomachenko, Lopez. Name the PBC, DAZN, Golden Boy equivalent to those 2 fights. Never mind, just in before the pandemic. So they're still giving us the best fights, Top Rank. But anyways, Bucho, what were you saying?
Yeah, about Triller. They are the ones that promoted or organized the whole Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones pay-per-view. So I read somewhere that Triller, so their plan is to have another type of celebrity matchup, maybe Mike Tyson against somebody else or maybe a YouTuber. And then in the undercard, that's where Teofimo Lopez...
So it's going to make it it's going to be a stunt on top. It's going to be farcical instead of regular, like.
Yeah, so and Teo would be the co-main event, I assume.
Yeah, and again, he's going to have to tie in some other big name. Like, see, people, and probably Triller thinks they raked it in with Tyson and Jones, but that's Tyson and Jones, regardless. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, Lomachenko does great beating Lomachenko, but he just eked by. It wasn't like you went out and smoked the dude. But that's it, really. You know what I mean? So, I mean, fuck. I just don't think it was a smart move. Like you pull that shit when you're facing somebody who demands that. And so he's getting overpaid. And what happens when you start overpaying boxers? In the long run, it's going to affect the sport in a negative way because nobody's going to want to get into it. And if people think they can just start, we don't need, they see that too. We don't need these promoters, but just do their own fights. Have anybody ever tried to just fucking throw a fucking party and just try to get that right? Never mind fucking getting a venue. You got to know the fucking state boards and the people in charge and get the ref. I mean, it's a lot of shit involved. So I don't know. I just don't think it was a wise move.
Somebody in the chat saying that Triller is that network. So Triller doesn't pay pay-per-view, no 50% split.
Triller is a network?
That's what he said. I'm trying to look it up, man.
Well, technically, it's an application.
Yes, it is.
What's that?
On Wikipedia, it says Triller is an American video making and social networking service owned by Proxima Media.
That's right.
So it's an app? So I thought it was just like a network.
On Android or iOS, Apple devices. Yep.
So you have to buy a pay-per-view on an app?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Hey, by the way,
can you get that through? You have to be able to get through your TV. That's just, I don't know. I mean, I still think ESPN that's available in 168 million homes is better, but.
Well, yeah, that Triller thing, it's a startup, so they're just starting. They're willing to flood money into the situation in order to make it happen, make it go. Real quick, guys, let's go to. We got a phone call here. Let's go to 470. 470. You're on the air. 470. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, man. How you doing? Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just started listening, so I'm not sure what all y'all was talking about. I know the big news is with Teofimo Lopez and the purse bid. One thing that I have noticed, like and you guys were just talking about it in recent years, is people talk about how evil these promoters are. I don't think a lot of people understand the boxing business, and they don't understand the amount of years that these promoters put into these fighters. Training them, the training, the startup fights, whether it be 10, 15, 20 fights before they get to a world title, where a lot of times these promoters don't make any money. A lot of times these fighters, I mean, if we're keeping it real, I'm the biggest Floyd fan in the world. Even Floyd, he was the recipient of a favorable decision against Castillo. Bob Arum also did the same many times for Oscar in close fights, where he kept his career on the upward trajectory. So a lot of times you hear this narrative, and you know that these promoters are robbing these fighters and not doing them wrong. You know, and if you look at Teofimo Lopez, here's a guy who was fast tracked to a lightweight undisputed championship against Lomachenko. Even in that fight, I think he won, but you could clearly see that the judges were amped to give him the decision. So it looked like Bob Arum wanted to work with the guy. So I think one thing he's got to be careful of is Bob Arum knows how to get revenge. So if he wants to
exactly,
he can do so. But he might find himself with another Pacquiao Australia decision if he wants to go this route, because from my understanding, there's still 3 years left on the contract with Top Rank. And also Top Rank, from what I understand, gets 20% of the purse from this first bid. So they get, I think it's like $780K without doing anything. So I just want to throw it out there. A lot of people, they just don't understand what these promoters actually have to do to turn a profit with these fighters, what it takes to keep them winning and keep them, marketable and being able to sell these guys, And these new promoters like Triller, they didn't put no startup work in. They didn't put any marketing in. They didn't put any investment in. They're trying to build off of what Arum did. So I think Teofimo needs to proceed with caution.
That's a great point, man. That's a great point, because listen, that's a very succulent point that you made, because Bob Arum, he screwed over or failed at least to protect his fighters, even his big golden geese from falling victims. Like, for example, De La Hoya Trinidad. De La Hoya got a bit of a crap decision there. Pacquiao got a bit of a crap decision against Bradley and against Jeff Horn. So you're right, man. I mean, if Teofimo Lopez sticks with Arum, maybe Arum says, you know what, let me show this kid that he's really not as big as he thinks he is, and boom, gives him shifts him on the wrong end of a decision. Because let's face the facts, it's not like Teofimo Lopez is invincible. He was looking pretty vulnerable against Lomachenko in those rounds. He looked very vulnerable against Nakatani. And now he's talking about wanting to get the big money against Haney and Ryan Garcia. Otherwise, he doesn't want to fight him. So, like, the question is, what does he want then? Does he want to get paid $50 million to fight these guys? And if not, what's he going to do? Going to go into carpentry?
He's going to expect $3 million to fight this fucking caboose. What does he expect to get for those guys? 8, 9, 10 million?
He's still in the Lomachenko honeymoon. He's still in that honeymoon. He just beat Lomachenko.
Brother.
How long is that going to last? Like, he's fighting this guy, Cambosa, whatever. Sorry, I remember his name. And then after that, come on. You got to fight somebody that's has a name, you know?
Hey, caller, people are saying that, hey, good for Teofimo Lopez for fighting, you know, getting this money and all that. But like this guy, like Bucho and Jimmy are saying, now he's going to want more to fight credible opponents. And we don't even know when that's going to be or on which platform. What do you think about this whole practice of counting another guy's money and saying, oh, good for him, he's getting the money. Meanwhile, us fans who actually pay for these applications and cable bills and all that sort aren't seeing the fights we want to see.
Well, I mean, I'm in my late 30s, so, you know, I started watching boxing hardcore late 90s, early 2000s, and boxing has changed from, we've changed from we just want to see the fights to now everybody's a fan of a fighter, and they just want to see that specific fighter, you know what I'm saying, win in the negotiations, win in the media, even everything outside of the fight. People are just, you know, cheering these guys on, whether it's Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, Tank. You know, I think it's gotten to the point where I think a lot of fans don't really even care if the fights actually happen. You know, as long as their guy is perceived as winning and doing his thing. The problem with Teofimo though is that I do think that, you know, at some point everything comes to a head, and he's got 4 belts. So his credibility, he has credibility because he beat Lomachenko. So once he doesn't start fighting these guys and he loses his belts, the narrative is going to shift away from him anyway. And Bob Arum, again, if he doesn't play ball with Bob Arum is going to get him right back. I mean, they may just do a rematch with him and Lomachenko. It might just go the other way.
And maybe the judges see things a little differently that time.
Right. So he's going to have to play ball. And this is the issue, you know, when you have a guy like a Lomachenko who's willing to fight anybody anywhere, you know, and people don't appreciate that. And, you know, and then you end up with guys like, you know, some of these other guys, they don't want to fight. They have outrageous demands. You know, they want this and that. So I think you can only get away with it for so long before you're seen as a fraud. That's my answer to your question.
Excellent point. Excellent answer, man. Listen, we got to move on, but great salient points you made. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
Great call.
Now, when is that fight happening, by the way?
Oh, great question. Hold on, let me see.
The Lopez fight?
I'm looking for it here in the Boxing Scene article, but it doesn't really say. Somebody in the chat room will tell us.
The one that we're not going to watch now because you're going to have to pay to watch it. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, listen.
Is any of you guys going to buy it? Honestly,
it's on pay-per-view.
Nah.
Yeah, it's going to be on pay-per-view.
Yeah. Well, unless it's Tyson Holyfield 3. I'm joking.
Yeah, by the way, caller, I think Bucho said... All right, take it easy, man. Take it easy. Yeah, Bucho said it might be in the month of May. And by the way, guys, maybe somebody can answer this question for me. When Lomachenko beat Walters and Rigondeaux, did he ever have any trouble with Top Rank about the money and all that, or did he just continue fighting who they told him?
Just continue fighting. There was never contract issues with Lomachenko reported anyways. Or, you know, most of the other fighters. No, this was, well, listen, he's a hot-headed fucking Latin kid, and he was kind of making problems. Remember I mentioned before he was making problems, talking kind of some shit before he even beat Lomachenko. So, yeah. I mean, Trilla, even if they try to buy his contract, then what? what they own a piece of a fighter. They're gonna have to do a pay-per-view every fight. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. And then, can I just say, I just read an article by Mike Carpenter to tell you what kind of a fucking shill the dude is who reports on the fucking PBC numbers, dude. He actually finished up his column describing the PBC as cornering the pay-per-view market. Basically, they own that now. Like, are you serious? It's a dead platform. Everybody's getting away from it. And he actually wrote it up as if it was a good thing to show you the level of shillery that fucking dude goes to.
They're cornering the VCR market.
The pet rock.
A fucking bunch of 80s and 90s references over here. Before we continue, guys, let's go to 509. Another phone call here. 509. You're on the air. 509. What's on your mind?
You guys are talking about the purse bid, about the Teofimo purse bid.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Was it Thriller? Yeah. I don't see it. I don't see being it. I just see it as a new strategy, like for when champions have to fight their mandatory. I thought it was pretty smart on Teo.
Well, it's pretty good.
He just tripled his money that he was going to get.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out here. It's good for him, but what about us boxing fans? I mean, we're the ones that pay for this crap in the first place when it comes to the pay-per-views and the subscriptions. How are you as a boxing fan? I'm assuming you're a boxing fan. How are you looking at this for yourself?
Oh yeah, I'm a boxing fan. I'm calling in a boxing show.
Right. Yeah, but so how are you looking at the situation from your end?
I mean, it's all promoters, networks, and the fighters. All three of them. Boxing's always about that one night. It's all about make the money on that one night. It's not about They don't really care about the fans. They don't give a shit. They don't give any fights we want. We always want a fight, and then they'll give us something like closer. Like, oh, you want Crawford Spence? Well, how about Crawford Ugas or Spence Ugas? I mean, boxing rarely gives you what you want for the fans. They don't care about us.
So the promoters don't care about us, and now the fighters themselves don't care about us. So, like, why are we watching this sport in the first place?
Because we're addicted to this sport.
We're crackheads.
We just can't.
But you're right.
Why have you guys have friends? You guys have friends outside of here that are not into boxing or into UFC. Into UFC, you have to explain. Don't you guys get tired of having to explain to them like about the champions and about this Valdez just won, and you can say, oh, he's the champion, but there's another guy that has a belt, and then there's another guy that has that same WBA belt, but it's a regular champion.
Listen, I gave up on trying to talk. Listen, man, I gave up trying to talk boxing. I gave up on trying to mention boxing to non-boxing fans 17 years ago. I had to cut off my own thumb just to make the pain go away.
I tell people I'm a fucking male hairdresser first before I tell them. I'm a
Jimmy,
male nurse.
You were going to say something, Jimmy?
What's that?
You were going to add something before.
Oh, yeah, no, I was going to say the people like cheering, like, fuck, yeah, man, you're getting $3 million. I'm like, what? I just don't understand. Like, all I care about is how much is this going to end up costing me in the long run? How is it going to affect the sport that I've invested fucking my whole life, you know what I mean? How's it going to affect that? And it doesn't affect it well.
Jimmy, they're going after Bob Arum. They're going after Bob Arum. That's exactly reason. They hate Bob Arum, and
we all know what that's about. But anyways, and if maybe a fucking Teofimo was dropping his kids up off my back or something, was paying my car payments or something, I'd give a fuck about how much money he makes. I know that his decision has now cost me money if I want to watch him fight. So, yeah, I'm not going to do cartwheels.
Well, you guys were going to stream the fight anyway. You guys were going to pay for it anyways.
No, I'm actually not going to even watch it because that's what I said before. The Tyson Jones fight, I didn't even pirate it or anything. I just went to sleep. Didn't bother to watch it.
Yeah. I won't pay for this pay-per-view. No fucking way.
And they're really late, and I'm getting old. Yeah, so
exactly. I can't stay up anymore.
I'm a huge Lopez fan, so I thought this was pretty badass. Like he just set this up for the rest of his life off a fighting a mandatory. He wasn't even supposed to get this much. Like, and he's not really.
I'm happy for Teofimo, man. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy for the guy, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's where it ends.
In
I'm not gonna celebrate.
1.5 million, sorry, it isn't going to take care of the rest of his life.
No,
1.5 million plus he has to pay everybody else out of that. Because what did he get? 3 million? You take 50% right off the rip on capital gains, and then you dice it up. You have to pay everybody else.
Bob Arum.
Trainers. Yeah, Bob Arum's getting a slice. So, yeah, no, it's at the end of the day, he'll probably make about $800 to $1 million more than he would have made if he went through Bob, but at the cost of his relationship with Top Rank and ESPN exposure. So, and now it's going to make fucking fans like me.
I mean,
think it's a selfish move.
Yeah, I don't buy that ESPN and Bob are going to hate Teal for this. Dude, he's their young superstar knockout artist, a hard-hitting puncher, great style. Like, he's probably, if not their best prospect or future superstar, he's like number 1 or number 2. So I don't think they're going to be.
Dude, they got Inoue. He's got Inoue, Tyson Fury. He's got. I mean, go look at their page, dude. They're loaded with fucking stars. And Bob's been in this since 1965. He'll forget that kid as soon as look at him. He don't give a fuck. And in the shit he's saying publicly, he's clearly pissed.
Caller, do you think that Teofimo Lopez deserves as much money? Do you think that Teofimo Lopez is like? Let me rephrase this. Do you think it's reasonable for Teofimo Lopez to be complaining about his pay?
What's the question? Do I think it's what?
Reasonable. Because, there's apparently he's pissed off. Like, Teofimo was pissed off at Bob Arum for the amount of money that he was offering him. Now he's happy with the 3 million, whatever. Do you think it's reasonable for Teofimo to be pissed off at this stage in his career?
No, I don't think he was. I think he was just like Bob said. They concluded with the other fighter with the other fighter they knew they were going to make more money. Even that Gambosa's guy is going to make like $2 million. Not before taxes. Before taxes.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what, the caller, you said something interesting. You said that you are a Lopez fan and therefore you're going to watch the fight. So that's open. That's free market right there. Look,
I'm not going to buy it.
Oh, you're not going to? I thought you said you were going to buy it.
No. Oh yeah, I'm a huge fan, but I'm not gonna pay for that.
Oh, geez. Okay, then that's bad news for Lopez. Then, yeah. All right. So I got you there, man. I mean, look, listen. People think, if you add everything up, everything that because I pay for the Zone, ESPN. On top of that, I'll get the pay-per-views here and there. It starts adding up, man. Especially for other people out there who have Netflix and Amazon Prime and all that. It starts adding up. So now they're saying, hey, listen, now if you want to watch Lopez fight, you got to pay extra for it. I don't know. It seems...
It's a co-main event. Supposedly, you're going to get a better... When you get a co-main event, that means that the main event is more exciting, right?
Right.
That's why you... So, if you buy that pay-per-view, you're going to supposedly get a better fight after.
Supposedly, yeah. Hey, listen, caller, we got to move on because we got another call, but thank you for calling in. Great points, and we'll catch you in the next one. All right, man?
Cool. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it. Later.
Thank you, man. Take it easy. All right, before I get to the phone call, we got Guerrero de la Info. Guerrero, I haven't forgotten about you. I'm going to get to you after this phone call. But and you can jump in, actually, for the phone call if you want. But let me
There's
just...
a super chat.
Oh, yeah, and then we got a super chat here from Viking Burial, and he says, these new kids want Floyd Mayweather money, but they don't realize he did 4 million pay-per-views before social media. These new kids want Floyd money, but they do 90,000 pay-per-views. Grow the F up. Shout out to Viking.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, this Teofimo Lopez already complaining. Like, of course you have to negotiate, like, to get a better pay, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, like, to the point where, like, you're, like, in the media talking shit about Bob Arum, like, how bad is it?
You don't want to piss off an ex-DA off, man. Let me tell you that much right now. Especially one that's been around for like 50 years or something. By the way, we got 832 on the line. 832, you're on the air. 832.
Hey, BDA, how do I sound?
You sound crystal clear, man. Thank you for calling in. What's on your mind?
Yeah, man. Bob Arum doesn't give a fuck anymore, bro. He's got 5 years left to live. He's Jewish, so the Christian God exists. He's probably going to hell. And you can see it to the way he's running his fucking company, man. It's just that you got Teofimo, who is the crown jewel, what's gearing up to be like the new glamour division. And he lowballed him at $1.2 million after so many years in the game and so much capital. You can't pay this guy what it's worth, you know? Like, this kid is like fighting champions after champions after champions. He should be enticing him to stay with the network to get the brand next to his name.
Hey, caller, sorry to jump. Caller, sorry to jump in. Sorry, caller, can you hear me? Sorry to jump in, but you're fading out. Are you on speakerphone?
I'm not. It's probably just fucking guard. How do I sound now?
But
you sound very low, man. You sounded
very low.
You sounded good when you started the call, but then you started fading out, man.
And is he talking about Teofimo Lopez?
Hold on, Jimmy. Hold on, Jimmy. Let me see if we can bring him back. Okay, keep going. Let's see if it.
Headset and call you back in like a second or what?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, sure.
Call back.
Call back. Because I wanted to hear what he had to say. I wanted to ask him, does he think, he said Bob Arum's going to hell. Is he going to hell because he's been a bad person or because he's not Christian? That's what I want to get to. But go ahead, Jimmy.
He dropped it after this, but he also said that he's been fighting champion after champion after champion. I'm like, oh, here we go. Here comes the fucking...
Yeah. So he fought, he won the belt and then he unified against the African guy. What's his name? Comey. So, I mean, maybe there's a bit of an exaggeration there, but what about what he said about Teofimo Lopez being right in complaining about being offered, what, 1-point-something million?
Well,
1.2 million.
He's going to call back, so we're going to get to hear his answers
Okay,
to that.
but we're in a COVID period right now, right? Like, there's no crowd. He's fighting a mandatory.
Yeah, but dude, he's fought champion. Therefore, Bob Arum should lose fucking money, dude.
Yeah, that's
nuts.
the thing, like, I mean, is it possible that Bob Arum is greedy as fuck right now? Yes, but come on, to that point, I don't know. I think it's reasonable considering the current environment, economic environment in which boxing is right now. There's no crowds, man, and he's fighting a mandatory on top of that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
This isn't the Lomachenko rematch.
Well, let's get to Guerrero de Info. Guerrero, thank you for being on. He's on the Streamyard. I don't know if you heard what Bucho said, but if you didn't, he's saying that there's still no crowds right now. It's very difficult right now for sporting events. Therefore, for a guy like Lopez to want more money when there's no crowds is a little bit unreasonable. What do you think about that, Guerrero? Guerrero, are you there?
You would take a piss.
Nah, well, but listen, I mean, it's an interesting thing because look, this boxing, professional boxing is not an easy sport. It's very demanding. You got to be training constantly. You see what happens even to these talented guys when they stop training or they only train, they go to fat camp, in other words, 3 weeks, 4 weeks to lose the weight. They don't train properly for boxing. They end up getting stopped eventually or they lose. So if you want to be consistent, and you got to give Teofimo Lopez credit so far. He has been consistent. Okay, yeah, he didn't look all that great against Nakatani, but he pulled off the win. He fought 3-4 good fighters, excellent fighters, especially with Lomachenko. So you got to give him credit for staying consistent. And if he wants to get paid for this, like I said, it's a hard sport. But you also have to be realistic. And like Jimmy said, him badmouthing Bob Arum. Look, Bob Arum is a lot of things. I'm not going to defend the guy. But I understand what it is. You got to understand his nature. And to think that you are going to out-negotiate him, it's one thing to negotiate with the guy. It's another to start throwing him under the bus in public, the way Lopez is doing. And for if you want to worry about the guy and how much money he's making, you should be more worried about what he's doing to Bob Arum right now. Because old Uncle Bob or his stepson DeBuff, or I don't know if that's how you say his name, by the way, but they hold grudges, man.
That's correct.
They hold, right, Jimmy? They hold grudges in this sport. It's like fucking.
Oh yeah, Bob's a nasty prick, dude. He goes after people. He knows how to pay people back. He can't be in this game for that long. And one way or another, he'll get his. Well, if he lives long enough, he'll get him. He's 90 years old now. But LeBoff can be a prick too. He was taught by Bob. And look at 1.2 million. How the fuck is that? I mean, this guy, and it's also conducive on who you're fighting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? The fuck, he's not fight. He's fighting a mandatory who has no chance. You know what I mean? It's a stay busy fight instead of him looking at it like an opportunity to stay busy, make a cool million. It's like like you said, he's got fucking. He's high on that Lomachenko win, and you know he's a dude who fucking love with his social media, and he loved the fawning he got. And listen, I'm props to the kid what he did, his accomplishments, but he's not as a fan doing me any favor or his future prospects. It just I don't know. If anything thinks Trill is the answer, yeah, good luck to you.
Yeah, because Butcher brought up a good point. Okay, Trill boxing right now, they're willing to pay for that now, but once they start actually saying, okay, we're gonna make money off of these ventures, they're gonna start cutting back, right? And then what's gonna happen?
Wait, did you say that Eddie Hearn was bidding for this fight as well?
He tried to, yeah.
He tried. Okay, sure. So Triller also beat Eddie Hearn. So not only did Bob Arum think that 4 million was too much or 3 million was too much, Eddie Hearn as well.
Yeah, he almost doubled Bob's and Eddie's what he offered, or at least more than tripled what Bob offered. Yeah, it's silly. You know what I mean? It's silly. It's not even a good fight. It's like anxious kids jumping in with their fucking, you know, the nouveau rich dudes. Oh yeah, just do whatever. Oh, it's Lopez. Yeah, he's the hottest thing. Get it. This fight will sell us up. We'll throw some YouTubers on. You know what I mean? But then you got to look past it. Okay, what happens if okay, you buy his contract, you're gonna do him now. Everything's gonna be a pay-per-view. You're gonna negotiate favorably with New York Athletic Commission, the Las Vegas one. Like Bob's on a first name basis with everybody. You know what I mean? He's got those relationships with the need. These guys don't have that, and that's worth a lot of money. Well, I think every fighter who's anybody for years wanted to sign with one of the top big guys. What they could do for your career.
In the chat, Arian Yuda says Hearn bid 3.5 million apparently. So
he wasn't willing to go higher than that, or the zone weren't willing to front him. I also read in the boxing scene article, they say that Bob Arms, who's okay with this, he's saying, all right, yeah, I'm getting my 25%, I think, or I forget the percentage he's getting from the Lopez.
$780,000.
Jeez Louise. But he's saying, look, I mean, the article said he's got about $80 million budget or something like that from ESPN to work with for the year. So like Jimmy said, he's not really hurting for Teofimo Lopez right now. I mean, this fight really wasn't worth it for him. So now he's got that money that he can use to make for, you know, maybe a Valdez fight. Set him up for somebody big. You know what I mean? A fight that's more worthwhile than Lopez versus Kombucha. So people that are saying, oh, this is a loss for Bob Arum. Look, I don't like Bob Arum that much, man, especially that fucking string of pay-per-views he put us through in the mid-2000s, like Hasim Rahman, Oleg Maskev. I think he was part of that. I mean, come on. But to say that he's going to be in trouble now because Lopez is leaving him, if he wasn't willing... What?
Who said that?
I've heard people saying that. And even Teofimo Lopez, like he came out on a podcast earlier today, saying, congratulations, Todd DeBuff, you just lost one of your top fighters. I'm thinking, you still got a contract with him. Like, here's my question, and I hope this doesn't happen to him. Is he going to be willing to sit out 2 years like Andrew Ward and Mikey Garcia did?
No.
I hope that doesn't happen, man.
I hope that doesn't happen. No.
Jimmy, what do you think?
Well, exactly. Like, both Mickey Garcia and Andre Ward, you know, in situations like with Rock Nation, they had enough money. They didn't care either, but Mickey Garcia honestly thought Bob was, well, I'm just going to sit the fuck out. And Bob was like, what? I'm not going to let that money sit on the table for 2 years. And I'm going to move his contract. They said Bob wasn't even entertaining phone calls. Like, if somebody wanted to call and buy out his contract, like, you know, he'd call him back at his next earliest convenience. He didn't give a fuck. And he sat that kid on the shelf for 2 years. And Garcia lost every battle in court. You know, you own a contract. So Bob doesn't even have to move this kid if he doesn't want to. So it just depends. Like, this kid should, I mean, you know what? You won your fucking purse bid. Now you got to fucking go out and start running your mouth too. Just goes to show the boxers aren't always the brightest fucking dudes.
When certain boxers ask for a lot of money, it's obviously based on what they like. They look at other boxers and they say, okay, well, this other boxer is making 4 million. Why am I making 2 million?
Well, you got people like Haney, brother. You see what he tweeted? Welcome to the fucking Millionaires Club or something. It's like, yeah, dude, cringe.
That's where I'm going at. It's jealousy, right? It's they compare themselves to other boxers. That's where it comes to, right? Where it comes to. I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly, but this is what they. It's not that he actually wants that much money; it's that he doesn't like other boxers making that much money.
What do you mean by that? I don't quite get it.
Like it's like women, right? They're not dressing up to attract men. They're actually to compete with other women.
Well, maybe I'm getting it wrong, but they're competing with other women for men, right?
No, he's probably talking about when you're married your girlfriend. You know what I mean? Yeah, my wife, when we go anywhere, she's dressing up. Yeah, she's dressing up for what the other women are going to say. Like most women, yeah.
Okay, I got you.
But yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. Yeah, a lot of these guys get jealous and they see the money other people making, or they get delusions of grandeur. They just think they're worth more than they are. And sometimes guys are like, well, fucking, why the promoter gets 15, 20%? Like, why, don't you expect 15 to 20% on your money? It's like, the fuck? What do you think these guys are into? Like, just break even because they just like boxing so much?
Hey, just hypotheticals here. And Bucho, I got what you're saying about the money. Like, I do think there's a lot of jealousy between these guys, a lot of competition actually about what each make. But now here's my question to you fellas. Let's say Lopez sits out the year. If he sits out 2 years or whatever the contract might be, he doesn't come back as a lightweight, right? So who's he gonna fight if he comes back? Let's say he signs up with the Zone or whatever. Josh Taylor's not longer with the Zone. He's with the Top Rank. So, like, what would the options at 140, 147 be? I mean, 147, that would be a big leap in weight. So what are the options if he sits out the 2 years? He's not coming back to lightweight.
He's not sitting out I mean, no. I think he would...
Yeah, I don't think he'd sit out either. I think they'd be crazy. But again, like you said, say if he does fuck around too much, okay, so he leaves and signs with Triller. The PBC already doesn't do outhouse. You know, they try to keep everything in-house. They've proven that time and time again. And then so he's going to be able to choose from what the DAZN fighters. Because, people are fucking high if they think that Top Rank will be easy for him to deal with.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, you saw what happened with Mikey Garcia, right? After he left. Then he starts talking about Lomachenko fight. I'm thinking, but you left Top Rank. Like, what are you talking about? I mean, it's insanity what somebody... How much of this do you think is outside the ring people whispering into Teofimo Lopez's ear saying, hey, yeah, you're the champ, man. You're the champ. Or the wife. You know, wives, they can become trouble for boxers.
Can only guess. You know what I mean? Guesstimate. Who knows? I know that the problem, his mother and father had issue with his wife. So what does that tell you? Who knows, what she's like.
Jimmy, how good does the pussy have to be for you to side with the pussy against your family?
Yeah, no, it'd have to be pretty spectacular. It'd have to be like sunshine. You have to throw that shit in the air and like brighten up the whole fucking... Yeah, nah. Yeah, because seriously, nah. I don't really choose pussy over my friends or anybody. Well, it depends if I was close with it, you know what I mean? But if it's just for a great piece of pussy, I mean, I've done stupid shit for that, but I would never turn on my family for fucking pieces of
my nigga.
That's a good answer right there.
Good man. Yeah.
You're the man, Jimmy. Yeah, by the way, do we announce it now, Bucho, the documentary thing?
Yes.
We're going to be dropping a documentary on about Fury Wilder, the road to the rematch. It's called King versus King, and it's going to be a good documentary. Hope you guys enjoy it. We're most likely
it's going to be good.
Yeah, we're most likely going to premiere it on Sunday, so stay tuned for that one. Bucho did ask for suggestions rather on what to name it, because we still weren't sure up until today what to call it. So we asked for suggestions, and we thank everybody who came up with the suggestions. Some of them were more funny rather than serious, but we appreciated all of them. We appreciated the laughs we got too as well. So thank you for everything, and stay tuned for that documentary. Again, probably dropping by Sunday, if not on Monday, but it's going to be dropping within the next 2-3 days. So stay tuned for that one. And by the way, I want to thank, at the end of the documentary, I thank everybody involved. Jimmy, you don't make an appearance in the documentary because, again, I tried to include as many people in there. Couldn't really find you. Some clips of the build-up, but we do thank you and other people at the end of the documentary. So thank you for everything. I'm going to take the opportunity to do that now. in front of everybody, so they know I'm not bullshitting. And
You're welcome, brother.
Oh, thank you. And by the way, we got another phone call, but before we continue, we got Recognize just dropping by. Recognize, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear. Oh, don't tell me you're on the road right now.
No, I'm about to get off the road right now.
Okay, so you are on the road, you motherfucker.
On the road.
Yeah. All right. Hold on. Before we continue, Recognize, let's go to another phone call here. We got a phone call. It is Open Lines Friday. Anything goes. Let's go to. Hold on a second. What's going on here? All right, 276. You're on the air. 276. What's on your mind? 276. Can you hear us?
Nah.
276 going once. Going.
Hello.
Yeah. Are you there?
Hello. Yeah.
You're on the air, man. Go ahead. All right, you know what? I don't got time for this today. All right, we got.
I thought you had a seizure.
Yeah, me too. Maybe he did. Fuck, I shouldn't have hung up on him. Anyway, if you're okay, call back. Recognize the Matrix. We got Boxing Chief, aka Jay, on the line. Jay, I thought you were out this evening.
Yeah, well, things didn't quite pan out this evening the way we thought it was going to. So, got a few minutes. I thought I'd join the panel for a little bit, see what's going on.
Please don't tell me. Please don't tell me you got drunk and accidentally. You didn't accidentally overturn the table at the gathering you were at.
I don't drink unless I'm overturned a table. It was because someone cheated in cards.
All right, there you go. Real cowboy right here. Shout out to John Gonzalez, who just donated the super chat. He says, "Better see my executive producer credit on it, BDA." Oh shit, I gotta add John now. Thank you, John Gonzalez, for your reminder and for your contribution. Hey, listen, fella, Recognize and Jay, we're talking about the Teofimo Lopez Triller situation where he's getting money, and we've been getting phone calls, people saying that it's not okay to be, it's not a good position for us boxing fans to be counting another guy's money. Other people are happy for Lopez, but at the same time saying, yeah, what does this make for us? Let me start off with Recognize, because he got here first. Recognize, what do you think about that situation, about Lopez going for a one-fight deal with Triller, mouthing Top Rank? Do you think this is going to bode well for young Teofimo Lopez?
Oh, not his relationship when it comes to him and Bob Arum. I don't think so. I don't think. I think Bob Arum's going to remember that.
Would you be shitting your pants if you were related to Teofimo Lopez and you depend on him for a salary or whatever? Would you be shitting your pants right now if you saw him badmouthing Bob Arum the way he's doing right now?
I would still, yeah, I would. Because Bob Arum's got connections, even though he's getting really old and there's more competition. There's powerful promoters on the come up. So I would say the fear factor is lower now as it compared to in his heyday, let's just say.
Right,
in Bob Arum's heyday.
Right, but it's still pretty.
We had a caller earlier say that you don't want to piss Bob Arum off.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. The only difference is there's more competition. Bob Arum is 87, I think. 87 years old.
I think 89.
90.
Yeah.
He's 90, I believe now. Didn't he just turn 90?
Okay, so he's 90 years old. I mean, what he's got, like maybe 5 more years? Maybe more? Maybe 10 the most?
89. Gonna be...
Okay, 89.
December. Yeah.
All right. So he's really fucking old. The guy's basically 90.
Yeah, but he's still.
How much control is he steps on? Like, what's his name? The Buff.
The Boof.
How much?
The Beef.
Todd LaBeouf.
You know more
the
than
Beef.
Me. What?
Just call him the Beef. Just call him the Beef, man. Let's go.
In French, they call him Le Bloom.
I think they call him La Faguette. Now, anyway, go ahead, Butcher. What were you saying? Butcher, you were going to say something. What the fuck?
Butcher, you speak French. What is his name?
like, is he like how much control does like is it going to be a clean transition?
Technically,
Yes,
yeah.
Todd LaBeouf is. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, PJ.
No, go ahead, man.
Oh no, well I was told that LaBeouf is already that has the reins of power. Like anytime Bob's not there, you answer to Todd. Well, Bob's still alive. Obviously, he has final call because it's his money. But yeah, no, Todd's gonna be it because isn't he married to Bob's daughter? So you know, I'm sure that'll be their company.
Yeah, he's
You
banging
know,
the
I'm
daughter.
really surprised. What happened to main events?
Dan
Duva.
died. Dan Duva
Yeah, Dan died
died.
years ago, but
Left
his
everything to
wife.
Kathy. He left everything to Kathy, his wife, which any honorable man would, except for the fact he left the reins of power with her. And Dino and Lou didn't like that, so they tried to branch out on their own and do Duva promotions. And the two just kind of they self-destructed each other in a way because Dino and Lou wanted to take some of their fighters with them, and then Kathy wasn't getting any new signs, like any young talent, and they kind of just dissolved on their own.
Yeah, because all they had was Kovalev, and he's a disaster now. So they really don't. I don't think they have anybody. It's crazy. They were the biggest in the '90s, probably one of.
Oh, the fall of Rome always leads to a woman.
Oh man, jeez Louise.
Recognizing.
Yeah,
You
but
would say the same thing about Greece.
Yeah, well, Greece was cross-dressers, I think. But Jay, you've been around the block. You know boxing. You've been in boxing for a long time. The thing we're talking about right now is with Lopez made this move where he's going to be going over to Trill Boxing for at least one fight for the moment. The purse bid went to about $6 million, so he's probably going to be getting $3 million. Some fans are saying, "Oh, this is great for Teofimo Lopez," but the question we're trying to discuss here is why are boxing fans worried about another guy's money when we really should be worried about the fights we're getting, especially when we're paying for these applications and cable channels and pay-per-views? What do you think about all this?
This is a deep subject because there are the keyboard warriors out there all over the place that think that a man's wallet is as good as his resume, and they jump into stuff to make arguments just to make arguments, and that part just doesn't seem to be very relevant to me. What is relevant is someone like Teofimo Lopez, who didn't do it like Ray Leonard or Roy Jones, that started on his own, is actually contracted to a certain promoter, is trying to freelance while still contracted to a certain promoter.
Mm-hmm.
Boxing being a traditional sport that it is, even though it's getting more modern, loyalty still goes a long way. And this is like Recognize just said, you kind of bite in the hand that feeds you right now. He got you a title shot with less than 20 fights. He got you a title shot before you're 25. It may have been all in-house, but he got you all this stuff. And now you're from what I'm interpreting, because I haven't read everything about this, it sounds like he's bad-mouthing his promoter. He's already looking like he's thinking he's bigger than his promoter. His promoter got him where he's at right now. Like Eric and I said, one of these days is going to come back. Look what happened. Manny Pacquiao was vocal about the fact, I'm more than likely going to leave my contracts up. He goes down to Australia to fight Jeff Horn, and guess what happens? He gets his title taken away when he didn't really lose his title. You think Bob didn't have a little bit to do with that? Because what happened? Bob promoted the very next fight with Terrence Crawford in a title fight.
That's right.
He kept that belt. So when it comes down to it, if he bites the hand that feeds him, these belts he has right now, as they slowly start to get stripped away, because it's hard to keep them unified, especially if you're not the draw that Mayweather or Pacquiao is. It's hard to keep them all unified. Then a fight's going to come up where it's just one belt left and your contract's up. And if it's a close fight, Bob's not going to make sure the judges are on your side.
Exactly. Yeah, you never know. Well, go ahead, Regnus.
No, that's a good point. I mean, listen, Bob Arum, you see the difference between like somebody like his last opponent, Lomachenko, and Teofimo, is that a guy like Loma, I could be wrong, a guy like Loma, like he may not like the politics, but he's pretty old school. He's a guy who gambles on himself. He might be still willing to deal with someone like Bob Arum or just shady promoters in general. Because most of these promoters are, right? They're just shady individuals. The difference is that he can deal with that, where Teofimo, he may not be able to deal with that. And like he has a very, I'm sorry, but I just don't like the dude. Like I don't like him. I think his personality reflects a poor upbringing, or at least his father being this bad mentor, you know, where he makes mistakes like this. This could be a mistake. Now, I don't know who this Trill boxing promotion is. Maybe he stays with them. And
It's a channel. It's an application. It's like the Zone essentially.
okay, so it's like so it's gonna be one of these DAZN apps that he's gonna fight on, and maybe things work out for him. But you know, when you're Bob Arum, there's ways around that, you know.
Right.
And
Yeah, I mean,
maybe he's in a close fight and he money wise, but I think that the kid is a little too gassed on himself.
Yeah, man, because I mean, listen, you don't want to look. I understand he wants more money and all that, but pissing off top rank boxing is not the best way to do it. It's indicative that there's more going on behind the scenes, or that he might be taking it personal or whatever. But the point is, it's a dangerous situation for him to be going around badmouthing top rank, because all it takes is one close fight, and the judges give the benefit of the doubt to the other guy, and whoops, all of a sudden it's you lose your undefeated record, and therefore in today's era, you're a leverage. So he's got to be careful when he talks about that type of stuff. By the way, we got Guerrero de la Info. Guerrero, are you there, man? On StreamYard?
Yeah, hey BDR, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, man? Listen, we're talking about the Lopez situation. What are your thoughts on that? Everything we're saying so far.
Yeah, you know, I've been listening for just a few minutes, but I agree with you guys. I think Teofimo Lopez is burning bridges, you know, a little too early in his career. And like you were saying, maybe he might cause some some disagreements within his own camp.
Yeah, man, certainly seems to be some disagreements about, like, he wants more money. I understand that. But at the same time...
But what? Bob Arum can't get him the kind of money that he's looking for? Is that the situation? Or he's just...
Bob offered him 1.2 to fight that fucking bum mandatory. And I don't mean bum, but you know what I mean? An absolute no-hoper. Even the kids in Australia are saying this dude has no chance. He's an Australian fighter nobody's ever heard of. And 1.2 million, so yeah.
Yeah, what is up with these lightweights? Because they started off good. I mean, Lomachenko and Lopez got it on. Ryan Garcia got on with Campbell. And now it seems like they're again. I'm gonna cut them some slack and say let's wait and see what happens this year. But right now, why is Lopez fighting this kombucha guy? And please don't tell me the title. He wants to keep the title. It's like you don't need the title. These alphabet belts, they'll screw you over more than they help you. So I don't want to hear about
contradicting himself, right? It was like at first it was 135. Fighting Lomachenko was going to be his last fight. Yeah, then this was going to be his last fight, but now he wants one more fight.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I don't get. Yeah, I don't get what's.
And Bucho. Yeah. Oh, I mean, BDA, I wanted to say too real quick before I forget, because I tend to, when I DM with somebody, they told me that also one thing that didn't get public because they didn't talk about it was Lopez and especially his father weren't happy with the fights that Bob was offering. Like Bob wanted to obviously make another Lomachenko, and you know Bob, he will match his guys tough. And it sounds to me from what that DM sounds like he wanted a few soft touches, but that happens a lot though. That's not the no.
Right, he didn't want to fight.
How much is Teofimo Lopez worth? Because some people are saying that Bob Arum was lowballing him and shit like that. But how do we know how much the guy is worth? Who determines the price?
Well, it's the people, right?
Well, I guess with that
demand.
The results are
usually the market
and what you sell. And he's had one fight that actually sold, and the person on the other half of that was Lomachenko.
Exactly. So
and then the fight before that was a title fight. So there was somebody on the other end of that also.
Right. You have to factor that in, right? The opponent. It's a component, right?
It's kind of hypocritical of him also. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Bush.
No, go ahead.
He said that, the Mayweather had to fight the Diego Corrales and the Jose Luis Castillos. He had to build that bankroll before he became the big star. This is a paraphrase from Teofimo Lopez. So in other words, all these other lightweights want to get $10 million right now, but you got to iron it all out before you get to be the big star. Now he's turning around. He's talking about, from what I'm understanding, because I haven't researched this, that he's had a problem with Bob Arum, that he's not getting paid enough. But you just became the major champion last year. What do you really think you're worth?
It just goes to show you, man, that you're asking a great question, but again, it's a hard sport. These guys want to get paid, so that is what it is. By the way, we got D on the Streamyard. D, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was just on mute.
All right, fantastic. Listen, we're talking about, I don't know if you've been following this whole Triller situation. It's still ongoing on today. What are your thoughts on this, on fans counting another guy's money?
Well, I don't know, man. I don't really get into, like money is being talked about by these fighters, the promoters. I think sometimes people just, if they're talking about it, why shouldn't we? These are definitely some of the things that's holding up these fights, right? And they're telling us in the media, this is what's holding up the fight. They're giving us these offers in the media, they're letting us know. So throughout all of these sources, so it's got to be talked about. I think it's not really digging in the guys' pockets, but it's just kind of what's going on in the business. I don't see the problem with. Okay, so here's my thing with the whole Teofimo thing. In the Lomachenko fight, initially Bob tried to offer him 1.2. And, I had dealt with this situation. A lot of people, Teofimo don't really want to fight Lomachenko. Well, they came to my channel. I did a live about it. So he don't want to fight him. He ducking him. He's scared and all of this. I'm like, the kid just simply wants to be paid more for fighting the best guy at 135. So then I would think that in this era, especially in this era of boxing, as you go uphill, so is your expectation of what you're going to earn. Well, if Bob just tried to give him less money versus Lomachenko, and then he tries to come right back and give him what he feels is a low number, he's basically telling him, you're worth this, right? Okay, that's what Bob feels he's worth. If there's other networks telling the kid, well, we think that you're worth a little more, they're willing to take that chance, then we have to see how all of this plays out. Maybe he is worth a little more, because if everybody makes their money, what Bob was trying to tell him he was worth is not really the case. I think Bob Arum was stuck at bidding the 2.3 that he bid, because had he outbid Eddie Hearn or come anywhere close to that Triller bid, then he would basically be telling Teofimo, I blatantly tried to give you less money than you're worth. So he was stuck on making a low bid like that, right? But I don't think it should be a problem when boxers ask for more money. And no matter how you twist it, the kid is about to get 3 times what Bob Arum was going to offer him. So it kind of worked out, man. And it's kind of telling him that he's at least worth more than what Bob was going to give him.
I think what matters is the return on investment, which we have to wait and see. Like you said, we got to wait and see. Maybe we're going to find out that Triller were fucking idiots. And Bob Arum was right. Right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, that could happen. But I could see also, I think the way Teofimo goes about things, it's, man, is that me?
What?
You guys can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, man.
I'm getting a lot of feedback. I'm sorry. Okay, I think it's just the way. Look, the Triller, this Triller, I just heard about them. I never heard about them until now. Offered a lot of money, and so Teofimo basically is playing with fire, and this is why. Okay, are you just going to do a 1-fight deal, or are you going to sign with them? Because, can he even make that choice? Does he have a contract that binds him to, to live out certain fights with Bob Arum? Because if he goes from this fight with Cambosa and fights him for an X amount of money that's going to be much larger than what Bob Arum offered him, and then has to go back to Bob Arum. I'm just saying, if that's the case, that's a dangerous situation for him. So in other words, he finds himself in a fight like competitive like Nakatani, or a close fight like Lomachenko. He might be on the losing end of that the next time around.
Exactly.
It's something that he has. It's something that he has to make a choice on. So it's so Triller is outbidded everybody by a lot, right? So you either gonna stay there, hope that Triller is willing to invest that type of money because they find you to be worth it. At least for this fight, they do. They find you to be worth it. And so therefore he has to sign an agreement with them. And I don't even know if he can, right? Like, what's the situation? He's only allowed to fight for Triller because it's a mandatory fight, and he has to go back with Bob, or is he done with Bob completely?
No, he's not. Apparently, as for the moment, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but he's got the contract still with Bob Arum, and Bob Arum is actually getting a percentage of his purse because again, they're contract, they're joined by contract. Yeah,
that's what I want to know. Okay, yeah.
By the way, official scorecard
that makes sense.
Official scorecard in the chat makes a good point. It says Triller doesn't think he's more worth than that. That's a complete nonsense. It's just that they're a startup company that has to spend money to bring the customers. Well, if you read their press release, official, it indicates that this is a bit of a, I'm not going to say it's a publicity stunt, but there's a lot of publicity involved in this. Because again, they're going to probably do some sort of YouTube fight, either between YouTubers or between faded superstars. So they need some legitimacy in the boxing undercard, and they think Lopez, well, he's young, we can get him for this fight, which Bob Arum isn't willing. It seems like they snatch it up a little bit. I don't know, but yeah, you don't know with Triller. You don't know if they're in this for the long haul or not.
And Bob Arum it's doing a Thriller event. He's not having some YouTubers, and he's actually having Teofimo as the main event against Camboso, I don't remember his name. So he factored that in. And he said, you know what, this is the amount I'm willing to pay. Maybe he paid a little, maybe he offered Teofimo Lopez a little bit under like what Teofimo wanted, but he was being reasonable, in my opinion, considering there's no fucking crowds also.
Well, you asked a good question, is how much is a guy worth? The market determines that. Now, Triller determined that they wanted to get Teofimo Lopez, but now fans have to pay to watch Teofimo Lopez fight on that undercard, and we just had a guy call in saying he's a Lopez fan, and he said, I'm not going to pay for that. Because, again, you got Lopez and then what? Tyson Holyfield as the main event? Is like, I'm a hardcore boxing fan. I didn't even pirate Jones Tyson.
Oh, man. Is it going to... Wait, the main event is going to be Tyson...
No.
Holyfield?
Possibly.
The Tyson Holyfield exhibition?
Hold on, guys. So Triller is going to put Teofimo Lopez in the co-main event. The main event, we don't know what it is yet, but it could be Mike Tyson against whoever, or a YouTuber fight, as some sort of celebrity fight.
So basically, Teofimo's just taking it. I mean, it makes sense. He's just taking it because it's the money.
He's the favorite, clear favorite. It shouldn't be
right. He could beat this Cambosa. He should be able to beat him.
Yeah, he should. Yeah.
By the way, somebody S. Gonzalez in the chat says Teofimo Lopez was ripping these YouTuber fights, and now he's going to be fighting on the undercard of a possible YouTube fight. So that would be pretty hilarious.
Yeah, but we don't know who's fighting, right? On the main event.
We don't know. It could be Mike Tyson.
Okay, so here's part of what needs to be looked at, especially from Teofimo's position. In addition to building your resume and becoming a star, you also need credibility. And if he sells out to just the highest bidder and he starts to get thrown on too many of these circus things, I mean, let's face it, Mayweather's credibility is going down, even though he's already a multimillionaire. But he keeps talking about these different ventures he keeps wanting to do, and the feelers are coming back very negatively. Look, you sold a lot at one point in time. You may not sell anymore, but Mayweather's 40 and a multimillionaire. Teofimo's not. And so if he keeps this up too soon, and you start going just to the highest bidder and they start throwing you on circus undercards, you're no longer the lightweight champion of the world. You're the joke that makes the most money. And you can laugh into the bank if you want to, but when the Hall of Fame starts calling and people start talking about great fighters, you're not going to be in that conversation.
That's Go ahead, Bujo. What?
That's a good point.
Yeah, because I mean, it's you look at Mayweather. It's interesting. Mayweather, when he retired back in 2008, the rumor was that he was going into the fucking concerts and everything, and that he was making appearances with all these rappers, and he seemed to want to branch out of boxing because again, he'd been boxing since he was young. I mean, that takes its toll on the body and on the mind. But then apparently somebody went up to him and said, "Look, listen, what exactly do you think you're gonna be doing with these concerts, like just showing up and being on stage?" So that's when he went back to boxing. That's the rumor I heard. So it's not easy, even for a guy like Mayweather, to just transition outside of boxing and to do something else. Like people don't want to pay you just so that you show up at their party. You know what I mean? That can happen.
Well,
like, yeah.
The $6 million that the IRS made public had a lot to do with that also, that he didn't have liquid.
Yeah, that can be
that had a lot to do with it also. But my guess from speculation is he'd reached a certain level of fame. He wanted to go out there and start making endorsements and public appearances and make a name off of being Floyd Mayweather, and it didn't pan out that way, and he went back to boxing.
Right, which is the same. Listen, that's why make the money you can right now. So for Lopez, he's making the money right now. The angle I don't like is twofold. One, the fans saying, "Yeah, this is a great move for him," but I'm thinking, how much for us boxing fans? It's not a great move for us because now we got to pay to watch a guy. And second of all, pissing off, like, it's one thing to disagree with your promoter, but to throw them under the bus publicly, that's probably going to hurt them.
That's what I'm saying. This is not going to, this can't end well. I mean, anything's possible, I guess. I don't know. But it's like, I guess you might, I don't know. Again, I don't know much about this Triller promotion or whatever they are. I would kind of hope, I would have to hope that works out if I'm Teofimo, right? Like, okay, we go on there, they bidded this money, the event is a success. It has a lot to do with me, and they're gonna, from the future, from here on out, they're gonna deal with me. That's a big gamble for Teofimo to be taking, because let's say, they bid this money and the event is a failure. Let's just say they're like, yeah, you want to fight Lomachenko, but we're not going to give you that same amount of money. So now you'll be fighting a guy who's more of a threat to you, and you're going to have to fight him for less money. You know what I'm saying? So it's a gamble. It's a huge gamble he's taking.
And by the way, shout out to Texas Bulldog.
He had to take, Yeah, go ahead. Read the super chat. There's echo sometimes. I don't know if it's coming from somebody on Streamyard or
I think it's coming from me. I don't know why.
I don't hear anything. It's probably only you guys, but on YouTube we don't hear. Real quick. Shout out to Texas Bulldog, who says, "What was Loma's minimum?" From what I read in that boxing scene article, Boxing Texas. And by the way, shout out to you for your contribution, Texas Bulldog. Thank you very much. From the boxing scene article, it said I think it's 1.5 or 1.25 or something around that. That's what he negotiated. Apparently, that was a minimum. But somebody was gonna say something before I jumped all over them. If not,
by the way, just for the record, I don't care if if Teofimo is making 4 million or something like that. Like, good for him. I'm not gonna fucking shit on that guy. He's making the best move for himself, right? In terms of money. I'm just saying, I don't understand these fans that are like celebrating and go, yeah, like he's sticking it up to the man and stuff like that. I don't get it.
Yeah, because they're not boxing fans. They're ideologues that use boxing as the vehicle to deliver their divisive, bigoted views.
Oh,
thank you, Jimmy. It kind of goes back a little ways for me, because I'm going back as far as I can remember into the 80s. Marvin Hagler didn't have anything bad to say about Bob Arum. Ray Leonard didn't have anything bad to say about Bob Arum. Tommy Hearns didn't have anything bad to say
They'll
about
all be at his funeral, brother. They'll all be there. He's got next to nobody who sued him. Ask Tim Bradley. He goes, look at it. You look at almost every fucking dude Don King promoted took him to court. Almost every single champion. Literally, it's in the Wikipedia page. It's crazy. Arum doesn't have that relationship with his guys. Guys who stay with him at the end of the day respect that. And listen, make no mistake, even the, I know it's fashionable now to say how fucking Floyd, he was blah, blah. When he first left, he was praising Bob. He said, listen, he got me on HBO 23 times in an era when his style, back in the turn of the 90s and the 2000s, everybody was blood sport. They wanted the bangers. And HBO, Bob said, no, this kid's a special fucking talent, and pushed to get him on. Because remember, there was problems. They first HBO didn't want to deal with the Mayweathers because the father and brother by then were beating women and getting in trouble with cocaine. So there was a lot of he had that to deal with. Bob went to bat for him. So deep down inside, Floyd knew that. And
Bob got him out of
again,
that contract with James Prince when James Prince was, I don't know if he's really threatening his life, but he was making threatening towards Floyd about the management problems he was having. And Bob.
And can I say that I was told James Prince is someone you don't fuck with for real? I've been told that it's not just Instagram gangsters. He's legit. I was told.
No, he actually did threaten his life. They beat up Leonard Ellerby.
So he's a legit dude then.
Yeah. Now he would never.
He did one thing right. He beat up Leonard Ellerby.
Well, he would never admit to that.
He's like donkey Ellerby. Shit, he said.
Jay Prince, but wait. To be fair to Prince, because I don't want no beef. He's got connections. He's even got connections in New York, so I don't want no problems. To be fair, Jay Prince totally denies any of this. He's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, which makes him even more dangerous. So, just to let you know,
he's not trying to get cred off it.
Right? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. That has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so for the headline purposes, Mr. Prince, for the headline purposes, I'm going by what I read on the internet, nothing that I know for fact.
Yeah, no. And again, like, at the end of the day, yes, he got himself a few extra dollars, but then you factor everything else. He's burnt his bridge at top rank. Because make no mistake, even if he stays there and everything seems hunky-dory, you think they're going to fucking rate him as like they're the one he's going to try to take care of all his champions. He's now not the, that's just a fact of the matter. Let's see Trilla try to fucking take him and carry him the rest of the way. Let's see if everybody's willing to stop paying pay-per-views every time this kid fights. I mean, great. Yes, he beat Lomachenko. I had him winning the fight, but he didn't fucking blow the dude out. He looked fucking average against some other dude I saw him fight before that. So we don't even know if he's going to carry this fucking championship. I mean, he's acting like he's going to be one of the fucking all-time greats.
Hey, by the way, hold on. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Go, bro.
I just want to say, I heard D said he's having trouble. Go ahead, D. I think I heard you.
Can y'all hear me?
Can you guys hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Okay.
I can hear him.
I can hear him.
Okay.
I can hear him.
So I just got a question for everyone. Do you guys think that he should have took the alternative and went with the 1.2 and took less?
Nope.
No, I don't. But I would say, do you think he's taking a risk?
I don't think it's much
I'd have
of
to
a
see what the
risk
market is.
I don't think it's much of a risk as everyone's making it out to be, because
not in the ring. I'm not talking about in the ring.
Okay, well, no, I know. I'm not talking about in the ring. I'm talking about outside of the ring. Like, okay, so the fights went to purse bid, right? It's not like the kid says, okay, I'm going to Triller now. It's just a fight that simply went to purse bid. It's not the first fight that goes to purse bid. And I just hear a lot of things like, is Triller going to do this from now on? Like, he's still contracted with top rank. It's just one fight that went to purse bid. A question would be, is Bob going to let every one of his fights go to purse bid? Is he going to keep offering this guy? Like, if we're going to say that all of these other kids around him, the Tank Davises, the Ryan Garcias, the Devin Haney, all of them supposed to do less, right? And get paid more. And Teofimo's just supposed to keep doing more and keep taking less, because essentially that's what it would be if he starts taking these numbers that Bob Arum is offering him. He's going to be looking around.
The way he's handling,
is going to be getting all this money
the way
for
he's
Leo.
throwing Bob Arum under the
How do we know what Giovanni Davis gets paid?
All right.
I don't think it's wise for him to be throwing Bob Arum under the bus. That's just my opinion, man. I don't think that's a good idea.
And I didn't get I don't know if he. All right.
D, how do you know right in this situation? How do you know maybe it's not the boxers that are asking for too much money, considering we're under this COVID environment?
Well, I think that a lot of boxers are asking for too much money. I'm not even saying that that's the case, but we talking about Bob throwing Bob under the bus. Like, man, listen to some of the things he's been saying about his fighters. I mean, it's not like he's been saying the most pleasant thing about Crawford. He's having a problem with his other top fighter. And like, it's
Yeah,
not
but
like he's been
D,
holding
sorry to
his
cut you
tongue or
off, but you
biting
were
his tongue
saying that.
about
Sorry
the
to
things
cut you
he's
off,
saying
D,
about
but you
these
were saying
guys.
that these boxers, D, you were saying that these boxers are getting lowballed by Bob Arum, right?
In a sense, I think so. Like the Keith Thurman and the Sean
But how
Porter
do you know?
situation.
Again, how do you know?
All
That's my
right.
big
Well, okay.
question.
I mean,
I can
again,
address this because I know the
88. I
facts of
don't
it.
think that we know either way. Like,
That's
I'm
not
not
me.
even
That's
gonna
Bucho.
sit here
Sorry
and
to
act like
interrupt.
I don't think.
Sorry to
Oh,
interrupt. That's
Bucho,
not.
sorry,
Yeah, Bucho. Yeah.
sorry, Bucho. I don't think that we know either way. Like, we don't know if
Right.
Bob's not offering enough or if they get, But like, everybody's complaining, and what I'm saying, even you guys alluded to it. Everybody, not everybody, but a lot of big stars end up leaving them. So there's something that is at
All
least
right. That's
consistent.
that's
A
di-
lot?
that's
He can
factually
bring
not
the
true,
guys
dude.
to
That's
That's
not
glory,
not
but
true.
true, man.
is he
D, come
doing the
on.
That's
right
not
thing with
true,
the
D.
ones
That's
that
just
is
not
in
true.
there?
That's not true,
He
Because
actually
man.
maybe
said the
they
opposite.
like is it a mystery that they're
Yeah, but D,
all
that's not
unhappy,
true.
and it's not like they're failing. Like we
I
can say,
don't
oh,
think D could hear
Teofimo
us.
He's
might
not going to
fail.
stop.
I don't think he could hear us, Jimmy.
No, no.
Yeah, I mean, like, and are they failing? Are they failing? Right? Like, did Floyd fail? Did Floyd fail? Did Oscar fail? Did Mikey fail? Did Pacquiao fail? Like, it's not like these guys
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
but
say
hold on,
Mikey
D.
really
How long
succeeded.
would, man, you're going
fail,
way
and
Hey,
back.
he's not even talking
You're
about
taking a
leaving. It's just the
15-year
purse
span over
bid.
here.
But I'm
15
just
yeah,
years.
saying, it's like
I know.
it's
Can
not
I
One
like
at
the
a
address
time.
guys
One
are
at a
this?
time. One at
sovereign
a
Can I
time. One
address
at a
already
time.
seriously?
One at
chased
a
Can I
things
time.
talk?
out of
One at a
boxing. Like
time.
a
One
lot
at
of
a
guys are
time, because we
finding
can't hear
success
each other
after
here.
he
I don't
gets
think
We
he
into
could
can't
the
hear
hear.
each
I don't
other.
think he
You
could
can't
hear
Yeah, I
hear
don't
us.
us,
think he can
man.
hear us. One at a time, because
Oh,
there's a
D's
big
having a delay.
one at a time, please, because there's a big delay between the StreamYard and even between you and me. There's a
Yeah.
delay here. So, okay, one at a time. Okay, D said that. Bucho, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
Let Jimmy talk. Let Jimmy
All
talk.
right.
Okay, Jimmy.
Well, I was going to address a couple of D's points. First off, no, not a lot of fucking stars leave Bob Arum. It's just the opposite. Far more, and this is not my opinion, this is a fact, far more people have left PBC in the last 5 years since that launched than left any promotion. And second thing, Bob pays Crawford 3.5 guaranteed per every fight. That was where that fight started from because Bob said, hey, we're in a pandemic. Hey, listen, we don't have a fucking crowd. I'm going to lose money on this. You think you can take a little back and I'll make it on the other end? And he was like, nah, dude. He said he had some personal reason. He needed all that money. But at the end of the day, even after Bob threw the zingers, it was Crawford who backed down. Not backed down, but actually said, yeah, I know Bob's a good guy. I shouldn't have said that because he's getting $2 million more guaranteed than Spence get. So he doesn't lowball his fighters. If the guys show him loyalty, he pays that. And Lopez, yes, good for him. He made that money, but it's not a good thing because now all of a sudden, instead of me seeing him beat up this no-hoper, they're going to expect $70 to do it. And it's just not worth it. But all I'm saying is when you make comments like, when you start going back 15 years, no, Floyd didn't leave Bob under bad circumstances. Either did Oscar. Well, I don't remember Oscar, but definitely not Floyd. Floyd, at the end, was going to do that big fight, and he left and he parted ways very cordially, and he thanked Bob for everything he did for him. And, Bob doesn't get sued by many guys. So to broadly say, oh, all his top fighters leave him, that's just wrong. Mickey Garcia signed a contract 2 fights into it, says, you know what, I think I deserve more. Bob said, no, you signed this contract for that money. And so how's that Bob's fault that this fucking kid, who doesn't really like boxing, decided to renege on his contract? Man, there's a rebuttal for just about every one of those. It's just he doesn't lose fighters. It's just not true. And let's just say
okay.
the
All
fucking
right,
truth.
Jimmy. I hear this. Oh shit! What the hell is wrong with this thing?
Are you there, D? Oh,
Yeah, I'm here.
okay.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep. Well, I
Yeah.
can.
So
I don't.
all right. So answer me this: when Teofimo looks around him, just give me the answer to this. When Teofimo looks around him, when Terrence Crawford looks around him, and they just feeling like these guys are making, is it everybody else around in boxing that's paying too much money, and Bob's the only one being fair? Because like
But you
my
just said,
thing is
now
this:
let me
these
address that.
hold
You
on,
just
Jimmy,
asked a question. Let me
Hold on,
address
one
that.
at a
You
time.
just said it
I'm just
Hold on,
saying.
feels
hold on,
My
one
like.
at a
thing
You're
is
time.
saying
this:
it
One at a
these
feels
guys
time.
are
like.
looking
One at a
That's
around,
time.
not.
and they
Hold on. D, were you finished with the question, or because you said answer me this question, and then
no, he could go. He could go ahead. He
Yeah,
could go
I
ahead.
think.
He could go ahead.
Well, now let me address that one question. You said Crawford. It seems like it feels like he's looking around. I mean, I can't address something that you say is a feeling. That's not something I can debate. I can't debate feelings because you're entitled to them. My point is this: as far as welterweights, Crawford gets the highest guaranteed of any welterweight. That's in his taxes. That's not a fucking. Spence gets 1.5 guaranteed. It's fucking written in Forbes. It was written in Ring Magazine. I mean, when they announced the fight, but Bob pays Crawford 3.5, and he's all, and like Crawford said, Bob is taking care of me. I'm not going to go anywhere because I wouldn't have made the money I've made. I mean, he openly said that. So it's not like Crawford's looking around and worrying about what other people are making. He knows he can't, unless he gets on a big pay-per-view, make big pay-per-view money. But he can't, getting those people in the ring. But you can say maybe other fighters, but Crawford is not one of the fighters looking around, complaining about his money.
Jimmy Crawford and his team are talking about leaving after this contract, fam. And they've been openly talking about that.
Really? That's the last thing they said? Because the last thing, when they were talking about their argument, he said, no, I appreciate everything Bob's done for me. And again, he gets paid. Yeah, he can say, everybody's going to say they're leaving or whatever. Well, will he? Let's see if he does it. I know he's re-signed with him, and he gets, again, more money than any other welterweight. That's per fight guaranteed. That's not even up for debate. So, if he feels he should be getting more, and again, does the market dictate it? That's another thing. Lopez can say, because he caught some fucking up-and-comer jumping in and having to throw big money to get this fight, way overpaid, it's going to have to sell numbers that I don't think it's going to reach just to break even. And then fucking on top of that, now it's not good in a lot of ways. First off, I don't like the fact that I have to pay $70 to see it. And and never mind, he burnt some fucking bridges. I don't
$70 for that
Nah, I don't think it's 70.
Yeah.
I think
No,
it's
it's
gonna be
$50. It's not $70, bro.
Yeah, but
so
still.
if it's 50, they're gonna have to sell about 200,000 then.
You know what I can buy with $50? I can buy a bunch of pizzas from Papa John's, 2 for $1 on Tuesdays, man. I'm not gonna pay. Listen, I'm a hardcore boxing fan, but I am not gonna be paying for a YouTuber on the main event and then Lopez on this undercard. Hey, look, he's getting paid.
why would Lopez? I mean, I guess it's the money, right? It's all about what he's getting in
I
that.
can't blame Teofimo for taking the money. That's I don't dispute that. I'm not saying he did the wrong thing. He's being offered more money. Sure.
Hey, Abucho, can we say too, mandatories? I mean, purse bids only happen for mandatories, by the way.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm paying for the zone.
yeah.
I might not even watch the Canelo fight tomorrow. Might actually do something else, and I'm paying for it.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even think I'm watching that fight because I mean,
Isn't Joe Joyce and Alexander Usyk eliminator fight?
I don't know.
That's for the interim. That's an interim title fight. That's going to purse bid. That's not a mandatory. It's an interim title fight, and that's going to purse bid right now.
Okay. Well, you know me. I don't follow the title, so I don't know what that means.
As long as they fight, I don't care. I like to see that fight. I know it's a political move, but I still like to see it. The two guys that more likely, the powers that be, one out of the way, but it'll give us a good fight.
Yeah. I mean, listen. Hey, as long as it happens, that's what because again, we're all paying here for the zone. Well, most of us, I assume, the zone, ESPN. Over here in Canada, it's called TSN. We got to pay for that. Pay-per-views, however we can find them. If I can't get a pay-per-view here, I'll try to go to.
I'm not paying $70. I'm not paying those $70 for Teofimo versus fucking Cambosa. Get 50, the fuck out of here.
I wouldn't even pay $25 for that event. Let me tell you, man. So, I mean, he's getting paid. Good for him.
15.
Go ahead, Jay. What?
I said I might pay 15. That's something that should be on free TV that's paid for out of commercial revenue and in a normal.
You mean my ESPN Plus is not going to cover that? I mean,
you're acting like Teofimo. You're acting like Teofimo Lopez, Jay. Now you're negotiating with no, I want this, I want that. No, listen, the agreed amount is the agreed amount.
It's a step above a USA Tuesday night fight. That's my point, though.
No,
that's the reason why it's not because of Teofimo. I love his
reality.
It's who he's supposed to go in against.
Mm-hmm.
Don't shove it down my throat thinking I should be grateful to pay for it just because it's boxing.
A lot of people are going to pay for it, and a lot of people aren't. I mean, I didn't pay for the Tank Davis fight, but they sold damn pay-per-views, right? So I mean, it's gonna be people that's gonna please, and there's gonna be people that's not gonna please. Obviously, like there are some guys that's within inside their company that's making these deals that know a little something. I don't think that they have a bunch of people throwing $1 million around and they're all idiots. So some of them see value in this fight somewhere. However, they see some way to make money in it because this is what they do. They out there to make money. They're not out there to lose money. So I mean, we can only go with what we think and how we feel about it. But somebody sees value in it.
That's an interesting
Yeah, that
assumption
PBC
right there.
saw value throwing 2 million at Lara and shit like that, and look what happened after that. Nothing. So maybe listen. I don't know. Maybe Triller long term they're gonna make a lot of money. They're gonna grow as a company, or maybe they're gonna fail. But I've seen a lot of failures in boxing. This new Rockstar, was it not the Rockstar?
Rock Nation.
Nation. They fucked up.
What's up, everybody? It's
Rock
obvious they have
Nation
no clue
America
what they're doing,
presents.
man.
Goose and Tudor Promotions.
Go ahead, Precise. I can hear you.
Go ahead, Precise.
What was the second the losing say, right, into the highest? Because they bid something. You guys told me in something like $6 million for the fight.
Yeah, I think so.
And-
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
6
next
point
bid-
something million, bro.
6,018,000.
And what
6,018,000.
and what was Bob Arum's or the second highest bid? Like 4 million.
three,
less or something?
three. It was three from
Something like
Eddie Hearn.
that.
Okay, so
Eddie Hearn
right
was
off
the
the bat,
second
you
at
know that
3.5 and Bob was 2.3.
yeah. So right there tells you that they have no idea how to price fights. They
Thank
don't know
you.
the value of the fight is. So that's not a good sign. Not a good sign.
Yeah,
Kind of
that's
reminds me of the whole Rock Nation thing.
Bingo.
Yeah.
yeah, it's very bizarre, man. I mean, look, this
Yeah.
startup. Oh, go ahead, Recognize.
Yeah, Rock Nation failed miserably because they overpaid, and these guys didn't bring none of that value in. That's basically what happened. It's simple.
Wait, you think $60 million for 8 fights from Cotto was overpaying in the twilight of his career? Come on, dude, just strict.
Yep.
Well, listen, I hope it all works out for young Teofimo Lopez because him talking a little bit of smack to Todd the Buff, or the Beef, as we like to call him around here, indicates that he seems to think he's in the clear, but he still has a contract with him. So I don't know. Look, listen, at the end of the day, we got to look to the future and see what happens long term. But the two main questions was that why is he, maybe it shouldn't be wise for him to talk that way about his promoter. And second of all, the fans that count other fighters' money and celebrating it, whereas us boxing fans, we get left out in the dust. We're already paying for this type of applications and channels, and now we got to pay extra if we want to watch a half-decent fight. And I'm being generous when I call it a half-decent fight. Most people would call it a mismatch. But hey, look, listen, I like this type. I'm curious, who is actually gonna pay for this event? Let's say it's Holyfield Tyson 2.
Well, by the way, Triller's gonna put, like I said, he's gonna place Teofimo Lopez in the co-main event. So that's how much value they see in the guy. They see him as a co-main event. By the way,
against Kombucha, yeah.
Yeah, that's not a because he was the main event against a guy like Lomachenko, right? He was in the main event, but when he fights Kambosa, right, he's going and in that situation, he's a co-main event. Now I don't know who the fucking main event. I don't know if it's Tyson, Holyfield, or I heard somebody say fucking some YouTubers. I'm like, wait a second, it better be like two old legends, But even then, that's not a good sign that you outbidded everybody by a mile, from some of the numbers you guys threw out there, and you're the co-main event. This is not a good sign. Look, I'm gonna keep it real. I don't care about Teofimo fighting some guy that I know he's gonna beat. You know what I'm saying? So no, I won't be paying in. I want to see him fight a guy that has a chance to beat him. And that's it. I don't give a fuck if people, you just want to see him lose. Yeah, there's people you like in boxing, and there's people you don't like in boxing. Even if I like you, I want to still see you fight somebody who has a fucking chance to beat you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're boxing fans. We want to see the best fight the best, and free market. Whether you want to pay for it or not, that's your decision. Hopefully, this all pans out for Teofimo Lopez. Hopefully, he doesn't go the route of Mikey Garcia and pisses off Bob Arum or whatever, and has to sit out 2 years. Because again, like I said, if he's out for 2 years, I don't think he comes back as lightweight. Maybe not even a
Well,
junior
then strip
welter.
his titles if he sat out too long, right?
Oh, no. Well, I mean,
Well, I know that a lot of people. Hell, Mark Unrivaled, we was going back and forth. He picked Comey to beat Tio, and then I know a lot of people picked Lomachenko to beat Tio, and then he comes a mandatory comes around. I mean, like ain't nobody really fighting guy after guy after guy that can beat him, and it is a mandatory. So again, like Canelo's getting ready to fight Yildirim. It's not like Yildirim's gonna win. I mean, like it's a mandatory, man. It's a mandatory, and it's really if you look at it, Teofimo versus Cambosos Jr. It's a fight that probably need a co-main event. It's Teofimo fighting a mandatory. Like you think Canelo versus Yildirim is going to be off the charts, and that's Canelo. It's not like that fight's going to be off the charts. So it's really a fight that probably warrants a co-main event.
But who's that going to be, though?
So are you saying that he's not worth $4 million
To
fight
fight
Cambosos?
Cambosos Jr. I mean, why
Yeah.
would he be? Why would he be worth that money to fight Cambosos Jr.? I mean, it's like it's two things going on here. Trilla's trying to get their name out there. Who knows what they're? I think it's more. The onus is more on them whether their event is going to work out because they're trying to stake their claim in boxing. Teofimo is just collecting money that really he's watching all of these other kids collect for doing less. But it's really Trilla. The danger is really on them. Is what they're doing going to work out? I'm not sure. Teofimo mouthing off the Bob Arum. Okay, whatever, man. Like these guys, like I said, all of these guys mouth off to each other, promoters and fighters. It's not the first time. It's not the worst thing in the world. But I think most of the onus is on Trilla if their business is going to work out. Teofimo is just taking advantage of something that he feels he deserves.
Well, why vilify Bob Arum and take Teofimo Lopez side that quickly?
I don't that, like. I don't agree with these idiots, bro. Like I'm just looking at it the business side. Like I'm not vilifying Bob Arum. Whatever. People are going to vilify somebody. You're going to have people that vilify Teofimo in this situation. You're going to have people that vilify Arum. It's going to be what it is. People feel like that he's not. The kid felt like he wanted more money for Loma. He turns right back around and feels like he wanted more money for Cambosos Jr. from Bob. So Teofimo fans are going to vilify Bob. You're trying to cheat him. You're being cheap. You're not paying enough money. That's just fans. You got a bunch of Wilder fans saying Fury cheated in Glovegate. That's just fucking fans, man.
Right.
My question is, who's going to be on?
Go ahead, Jim.
I was going to say, who's going to be on the co-main? Because think about it. As it stands now, their bid money. Yeah, Precise made an excellent point too. About all you got to do is look at what the other people who've been in and around the game know what it's worth, know what it's going to pull down, what they were bidding. Trying to leave a little money on the bone to make a fucking profit. So this kid going triple what everybody else did shows you they don't know what they're doing. But anyways, now that money's already spent though, right? I mean, you divvied it up. That 6 point something they bid. Now they have to come up with more money to pay the co-main. So that's So who's going to come up with that? They're going to have to come up with more money, meaning it's going to sell even more pay-per-views.
So they're
and
banking.
by the way, you know what? Go ahead, Mr. B.
Well, no, do go ahead because I was just going to ask another question afterward.
No, because we're talking about. I'm going back to the who's right, who's wrong here. I mean, because in the chat you were saying that I can't believe some people are taking Bob Arum's side. I mean, that's what you said in the chat.
What's the beef?
Yeah, I said that. I said that in the chat. I said that in the chat, King Bucho, because I just feel like it shouldn't be like a bashing of this guy. Like you can't bash a 23-year-old kid that's doing the most and watching more kids getting paid. And that's just like you hear it from both sides. So you hear people bashing Bob Arum. Say
Yeah,
what
that's
now,
the second
Jimmy?
time he said that. I would like for him to elaborate what he means by that.
Okay,
I'm looking at Hank
he's
Davis,
getting paid
1.5
less.
million.
Okay, he's getting paid less than the kids around him that are doing less. That's a fact. Like these kids are Taker's making more money. Ryan's making more money for these nonsensical fights than Teofimo's making. Like he only made really good money on
That's not how the market works.
How much did Tank make his last fight?
But can I get a word in? I'm sorry. Like that's not how the market works. It does. He could. Look, Teofimo could fight Godzilla in his next fight, and he could whoop Godzilla. That still doesn't mean he's worth $10 million. It's all about what you can generate. So far as I could
Yeah,
tell,
exactly.
Tank Davis has got a huge following. I don't know what Teofimo's following is. So it really, the fact that he beat Loma doesn't necessarily mean that he should be getting paid that much more money. It's really about how popular he is, right?
Right, and we
Exactly.
understand that. But if you listen to what I'm saying, we understand that. But if you listen to what I'm saying, you have a kid that probably doesn't understand that. Like it's a lot of things about this business that Crawford and his team seemingly doesn't understand. When they say I'm not gonna take this and I'm not look, these fighters are not understanding the business. Like it's not common. It should be common knowledge that these fighters don't understand the business. This is how a lot of them get screwed over. So what I'm trying to say is you have this kid looking around saying these guys are getting more money than I am. I'm not saying I fucking agree with it. I'm just saying this is the situation you have here, right? So you cannot force this 23-year-old kid to take your perspective because you know how the business really works. They don't fucking know, fam. This is all I'm saying. They don't fucking know. And we should all be in agreement with
Nobody's
this. A lot of
forcing.
these fighters don't understand the business. So if as fans, we have this knowledge, right? You don't bash a kid that's trying to get more money. That's all I'm saying. And if you say, "Oh well, Bob's this," so basically, are you saying he should have taken the 1.2? I heard a couple of people say, "No, I'm not necessarily saying that." So there's the argument. There lies the argument between both sides. Whether you're taking Tio's side or Bob's side, there lies the argument.
Well, I'm not taking anybody's side, and I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm just giving my opinion on the situation. So I'm just speaking facts. I don't give a shit
Yeah,
what's
that's
in
the
Tio's head. I don't give a shit what's in anybody else's head.
Yeah, that's the question here. We were asking for Open Friday here, Open Lines Friday, which is why are some people, because I've heard some people in the message boards and read their comments saying, oh, yeah, this is great for Teofimo Lopez. This is great. I'm thinking, okay, it's great for him, but what about for us? He's fighting some guy that we don't really want to see him fight. We would much rather see him fight Loma again or Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney. Instead, he's fighting Kombucha on a app that you have to pay for. So good for him. But I guess at the end of the day, nobody should be vilified for this. Neither Bob Arum nor
It's
Teofimo.
either
I won't go with vilify, but I'll go with this. It's like I said before. This is a fight. It has to happen. He wants to keep his belts. It's being pushed on him. He's going to take it honor his belt, his obligation. Mm-hmm. I have no problem with this. I have no problem. He's having this fight. He's training for it, or he's going to take it. I have a problem with where they try to advertise it and what they think I need to bow down to them and what they think they can charge me for something that's not worth it. If it's a mandatory. Yeah. Usually that would have been on HBO, ESPN regular, Friday Night Fights. Back in the day, that's what it would have been. Because the fighters' purses keep getting so big because they need to go out and get theirs, as the saying goes, and I don't have a problem with that either, but there's a cutoff where it needs to stop. And this one is not worth that.
And that cost is passed on to the viewers, to the consumers.
Yes.
Right? Because so that's what people understand. Like the more money they have to pay these boxers, the more it's going to cost us. So now we have to pay for pay-per-views, and it just becomes the fans end up losing, is what I'm saying.
And it sets a bad precedent because if Teofimo gets $4 million for Kambosos, what's he going to ask to fight someone like Tank? You know what I mean? You can only go up from there.
Yeah,
that's a fight that never happened. Floyd ain't never put Tank in there with him.
Yeah, Floyd and Tank, I don't know what they've got planned. I don't think, it seems like Floyd doesn't have a confidence in Tank Davis, even though he should, because, Tank Davis should have gotten to Burchelt first. I think he could have taken him out based on what we saw on Saturday, but I don't know what they're playing over there. Don Ramon
but
in the
Tank
chat.
Is just an example.
Right, yeah.
Go ahead, BJ. I'm just saying, Tank is just an example, right? It could be anybody, any of the fucking 17.
Right, it could be Devin. Could be Devin Haney next. He's gonna want. So he's got $4 million. He's getting $4 million to fight Kambosos, and so when he looks at that situation and then Devin Haney, and then reality kicks in, it's like, yeah, that fight you're worth only like $3.5 million for that fight. He's gonna be like, no. I fucking got $4 million for a slight touch. I want a lot more money for a guy who's more dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I want a $7 million guarantee to fight.
Already offered them $4 million. Bill Haney already offered him $4 million. I was on live with him, Junior Lopez, and Bill Haney. We was all on live. He already said he would come to the table with $4 million, and that was before this. So $4 million was already on the table. He may have to up the ante, but that was something that they were already offering. And Hearn said that it was okay as well.
Was Bill Haney
Well, there you
negotiating?
go.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, and that's the thing though, because it makes me wonder. Look, in the perfect world, I would have rather have seen Teofimo Lopez fight Ryan Garcia or Lomachenko in a rematch, or even a guy like Devin Haney. Now I'm reading that Ryan Garcia is going to be fighting another mandatory, or I mean a mandatory for that belt that he won. You know me, I don't like the belts. So the lightweights right
Isn't
now,
that like an interim belt?
I don't even know what he has. But the point is, we got to wait and see what happens with them. If you want to cut him some slack, fine. You know, it's not like they got to make something happen right now, although I would like that. I got high standards for boxers. But look, if they want to take on their mandatories or whatever, okay, as long as they end up having a meaningful fight down the line during the year, yeah, okay, let's cut them some slack. But again, this whole thing of people celebrating, oh, this guy's making this amount of money. Okay, but are you going to be paying for the fight? Because if not, then it doesn't really work out for us boxing fans having to pay.
BDA, I think what you're going to get from Teofimo, and I could be wrong, is pretty much what you're seeing now. He's going to be a hard person to negotiate with. He's going to overprice himself, and that's going to be the route that he takes. I could be totally wrong. And like I said, look, the kid got to where he wanted to. He went there. He did it the right. I guess he did it the right way. And he went in the ring and he proved it. But I think that from here on out, if he's going to get $4 million for Cambosa, he's going to want more money for the bigger threats. And that's why wouldn't I think that? Like, I want somebody to convince me to think that he wouldn't want, Devin Haney. Okay, Devin Haney, Lomachenko rematch. I want $7 million.
Yeah, hopefully not, man. Hopefully he keeps up the. Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I was just gonna say, if he's still gonna campaign at 135, I will be beyond like. Again, I was always high on Lopez. I was high on him back before he fought him, and a lot of people weren't. Actually, before he even fought Comey. But a lot of the things he's been doing and saying, and just, if he stays in campaigns at 135 and doesn't fucking give Lomachenko a rematch after a fight that close, that wispy close, I'll fucking lose all respect for the kid.
Oh. Well, now it brings up an interesting question. Is he going to stay at 135? Because he's fighting this guy for the mandatory, and the whole basis for him fighting this guy is, well, he wants to keep the belts, meaning he's planning to do something at 135, right?
They're supposed to be fighting.
I mean, if he's fighting to keep the belts, sure. You would say that's definitely his plan. So my thing is this. Do the right thing and give Lomachenko a rematch. Now there'll be no excuses. His shoulder's healed. Let's do this. Like, it was that close of a fight. It deserves to be fucking ran back.
Jimmy, what about the Haney fight? Because
I think Lomachenko deserves fucking, myself personally, my opinion, deserves much higher considerability than fucking Haney, because that was the one he fought. Give the kid back an opportunity.
All right, Jimmy, I get the fact that you feel Loma deserves to fight more, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But again, we got to go back to fans. There are a shitload of fans that want Devin Haney. Okay, there's a lot of fans that want Devin Haney versus Teo that are not Loma fans. There are a lot of fans out here crying about this fight, Jimmy. We can't act like there's not a lot of fans crying about Devin Haney versus Teofimo. So if he got one more fight left at 135, he can only fight one of those guys, right? So you can't, like, if he doesn't fight,
I wouldn't complain about the Haney fight.
If he fight Haney instead, we can't really like bash Teo
for
fighting Haney.
Dude, I would have no problem with that. If he fought Haney, I'd have no problem with that. That's a top level fucking competition. I'm not going to complain about a dude fighting someone at that level. Fuck no. But that's probably the only person. If he, if he fights, if he does fight Haney, then yeah, he's taking on a great risk, and I'll never bash a dude for doing that. All the props to him. But if he doesn't fight Haney and fights some other scrub and not Lomachenko, again, this isn't just because it's Lomachenko, dude. Believe me, I've been following this fucking sport for decades. I never get Besides Mickey, never got hung up on any fighter like that. That's just not how it is. I can roll right off it just as quick when they do something stupid. My point being, I like to see this kid that talented as a boxing fan fight more. Not because it's Lomachenko. I don't give a fuck about that. It's because I've never seen but a few times in my life get a guy do shit in a ring that makes me go, holy shit. And now that his shoulder's healed, that was a wispy close fight. And for time immemorial, when you take a title off somebody in a wispy close fight, out of respect, you give the guy a rematch. Again, if he goes with Haney, whatever. But if he doesn't go with Haney and doesn't go with Loma, that I'm done with fucking. I'm not on that kid's train anymore.
Well, look, I'm a big Loma fan, and we know that I'm kind of leaning towards top-ranked fighters lately. But he can't hear me, so I'm going to finish what I'm saying.
Oh,
one
go
at a
ahead,
time,
fam.
fellas.
Go ahead,
One
go
at a
ahead.
time.
I don't know who that was.
D, go ahead.
bro. All right. Well,
No,
it's a
no,
good possibility.
you go, D.
All right. So this is what I've heard, at least from. He most likely will be fighting Haney or Lomachenko before he moves to 140. So here's the thing: Tank ain't gonna fight him. Take Tank out of there. Floyd ain't gonna put him in no danger. 9 times out of 10, as high as people are on Ryan Garcia and Bob want that fight, Ryan ain't gonna fight Teofimo either. So the only thing that would keep him from Haney or Lomachenko would be Tank or Ryan, which is fights he's not gonna get. If he doesn't get Lomachenko or Devin Haney, he's going to 140. They've already said that. So it's going to be after Kambosos Jr., Devin Haney or Lomachenko, or he's just going to go to 140 and seek out Pedraza or Zapata. This is what the senior told me is the plans right now. So, we could get mad or whatever,
I
but
wouldn't.
the kid's already too big for 135. But again, he's not getting paid like the other one. So the money's at 135 right now. And I don't count nobody's pockets, but this is what's
Right.
going on. The money's at 135. It's not the money's not really there at 140. The kid
Right.
hasn't really got
Right.
paid. He had
Money's
to
at
take a
130.
pay cut for the
Yeah.
biggest fucking
Yeah.
fight that he's taken
Yeah.
in Loma. So he's trying to get paid. If he doesn't get paid, then he's going to go to
Right.
140.
Anyway, I wouldn't hang too much on what Teofimo has to say because he says a lot of things and then does the opposite. Whatever. Say whatever.
Well, what
All I
did
was
he,
going
what
to
did
jump
he
in and
say that
say
he's done
was,
opposite? What has he said that he's done opposite? If we're going to say these things, give me an example. What has he said that he's done opposite? Like, seriously. They said, right, he said he's going to leave the WBC tournament and go after Lomachenko. Did he not do that? He did that. So what is it that
Go
he
ahead,
always
Jay.
says that he's
Go
done
ahead, Jay.
opposite, except what Devin Haney's claiming?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jay. We were going to.
No, a moment's passed. It's the topic's
Yeah.
shifted to something else.
I know. We could move on, probably.
Well, listen, I was going to say something here. In regards to Teofimo Lopez, look, I don't understand. So the plan is to either fight Loma or Devin Haney at 135 or move up to 140. So essentially what he's doing now is he's just fighting this guy for the money, which good for him. But again, I'm not one of those guys that's going to count this guy's money and go, oh, yeah, he's making money. Because, if he wants to move up to 140 right now and he can't make the weight. First of all, I thought he was making the weight. I thought he didn't have any problems making the weight prior to the Loma fight. Now all of a sudden he's too big for 135.
They came out and said that they had issues making the weight, but they could make it. But a kid walking around at 160 something. Let's be honest, he's walking around at 160. He's 23 and he's growing. It's not going to be a piece of cake to make that kind of weight.
Well, unless you're on the fucking asthma medicine or something. But look, listen, I'm being facetious. I'm being facetious. But anyway, look, listen, the point is, I want to see the best fight the best. Right now, all these fucking lightweights, they're talking the talk. At least Ryan Garcia and Lopez ended up fighting somebody worth a damn. Now, though, I'm cutting them some slack. I'm saying, look, let's wait and see what happens after these fights. But again, I'm not going to pay for the Trill boxing, whatever it's called, Triller. And the zone, I already got the zone. So whoever Ryan fights, I'm not going to be happy if he fights some bum. But if he fights somebody worth a damn, hey, I'll watch it. I'm already paying for the zone. But no way in hell am I paying for Trill boxing or Triller. I'm just going to call it Trill boxing from now on. But yeah, man, look, listen, this Who's the fuck's saying that? But yeah, man, listen.
That was me, sorry.
Look, Teofimo Lopez was Ryan Garcia. I still think he could make a buttload of money. I said that before or rather after the Lopez Lomachenko fight. I said, look, if Garcia beats Campbell and does it in impressive fashion, a lot of money in that fight. I
see that one going at 140. I see that one building up and going at 140 because they both have the frames for it.
Mm-hmm.
So build it up and they both end up moving up and going that way. As far as in regards to what Jimmy was saying with the Lomachenko, I'm a huge Lomachenko fan. But if he really thought that there was a need to have to push a rematch, he should have had it in his contract to begin with. I think he deserves one, but
exactly.
If it's going to be this much of a mix-up with the different talent that's there to where they're going to say, hey, you have to wait your turn now, he should have had it to where he didn't have to wait his turn to begin with.
Is it Teofimo Lopez' father complained about the rematch?
He did have it in the contract, but Teofimo wasn't going to fight him unless he took it out. You know, there you go. What are you going to do?
Fucking snakes. That's all that is. They're just snake-ass motherfuckers.
I personally don't like rematch. I personally don't like rematch clauses. I don't see why fighters should be tied down. It fucks the whole thing. But, you know, he did have it. It's just Teofimo wanted it taken.
Now, that's something that I've heard, that supposedly they wanted the rematch clause to be left out. It wasn't like Lomachenko said, no, you take it out, no rematch clause. So, but even if he had taken the rematch clause, which he didn't, I mean, he didn't ask to be, he didn't demand for it to be taken out. Why not do a rematch? I mean, why fight Kombucha? I mean, at this point, he's just doing it for the money. So, okay, you want to get paid, but like I said, this BDA
it's a mandatory, from what I understand.
Right, but
it's
so the
not,
BDA
it's not just the money. It's okay. So guys, it's a lot. Okay, we can't leave out the Haney situation. Like, here's the thing. It's all a mix up here, but we can't leave out context when we talk about these things. Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez, the whole narrative behind this build of the Haney fan base and everything is that to be officially undisputed, right, you have to go through Devin Haney. If he gives up the damn IBF belt, it's not an undisputed match with Devin Haney. But that's the whole clamor for that match. That has something to do with it too. So yes, it's for the money too, because he's tired of not getting paid less than everyone else. But still, he has to hold on to that belt so that the quote-unquote official undisputed match, because Suleiman came in here with the franchise belt and mixed all of that up, and Teofimo and Loma wasn't officially an undisputed match, that comes to play too. So if you don't fight Kambosos Jr., fighting Devin Haney for what? It's still not going to be an undisputed match. So it's all of these weird dynamics involved in this, but all of them still plays. This is why he don't want to give up his belt. The IBF will do what? What are they known for? They will strip you, right? They will strip you.
Well, number one, he shouldn't be worried about. He shouldn't be worried about the belts. You know my stance on belts. Screw the belts. I don't understand why he's so obsessed on unification with a guy that didn't even earn his belt in Devin Haney. That's number one. Number two, now we are focusing on the money, talking about, well, he's earning less for doing more than everybody else. Well, I mean, that's on his contract. Now he's fighting some relative nobody for more money, so good for him. But essentially what he's saying is, hey, I want to get paid this amount. That's not what this contract said. I don't know what to tell him. I mean, good for him. He's going for the money right now. That's what it is.
In BDA. Well, can I just add to that too? My thing is this. Before Comey, right, Lopez was still pretty much talked about as a prospect, as a fucking top level, or maybe just entering contender territory. That was just a fucking fight before Lomachenko. My point is, who in his weight class, because you keep saying over and over and over, he's looking around seeing all these people making so much more money than him. Who in that weight division was making more money than him? Who, I just went and look at, his pay, and it's the market bears it out.
Jimmy.
What's that?
Yeah, Jimmy, he was making, I just went through this with somebody on my live. He only made money in the Lomo fight, only. Other than that, it was 200, 300. He wasn't making any money, fam. So you taking
he
one
was making
fight.
prospect money.
Again, these guys.
He was getting what every prospect gets.
Okay, go ahead, Jimmy. I'll let you.
No, I was going to say he was getting the. I can barely hear D. So if I'm talking to him, I can barely hear him right now.
Yeah, that's all good. It's just
so he was only making at the time. He was only making prospect money because that's what Jimmy was saying.
because at that time he was just that. He was a prospect. Okay, he got paid for the Lomachenko fight. That was his first. You could say, set you up for kind of life, kind of money.
And what were guys in his same position, right? His same position. Look around the thing, right? Because I tell you, Bob could probably rattle off, or LaBeouf could rattle off every single person who was in that same kind of, in that level of fandom, respect or whatever, where Lopez was. He was still entering the contender status going into the Coney fight. So, yes, the money wasn't great, but again, he's trying to skip all his rungs in the ladder, and he's doing it, and he wants fans to pay for it. I'm just not cool with that.
Yeah, Jimmy, Haney made $2.5 million to fight Saul Abdulayev. $2.5 million to fight Abdulayev. And this kid's looking at that. Again, I'm not saying I agree with this, fam.
That was because of his own contract. That was because of his own contract.
Look,
Not to mention that was also in front of a live crowd.
It doesn't matter why. He watched the kid make $2.5 million, and you just said, who is he watching around to make so much more money? It's 200,000.
I said, okay, that's one.
Right? Okay, so
what did he make for his last fight? What did he make for his last fight?
400,000.
Well, I understand
so wait a second. So you're saying that Haney made $2.5 million to fight Abdullah, whatever the fucking guy's name. Right.
That's right.
And then his last fight, he only made $400K.
Oh, what did Haney make his last fight?
Yeah.
You talking about Haney with Gamboa?
Yeah.
800.
Yeah, he made 1 point.
Okay, 800.
Hold on.
800.
No. He made. The Haneys have DHP right now. Although they're positioned differently, he's still watching these kids make money. Haney's made well over the purse amount, right? Well over the purse amount, right? And
so how much did he make for the Gamboa fight?
Even with Tank Davis, he's getting money behind the scenes, and this kid is just watching what he's getting from Bob Arum. Now it's a contract, guys, and I know there's a lot of business that we understand again, but these kids don't understand that. They're just watching kids get more money than them. This is what I keep trying to say, Jimmy.
Hold on, I don't mean to cut you off, D, but I got to ask you, what's money behind the scenes? What does that mean?
Okay,
they're getting money behind the
I'll give
scenes.
you an example, Jimmy. I'll give you an example. Adrian Broner, he got a purse on this last fight, right? But they set it up so that AB Promotions also got a cut. He made massive money on that fight with Santiago. So the PBC is setting these guys up on, and this is all written in, Jimmy. You could go look it up. I'm pretty sure you do your research. So the PBC sets these guys up, Tank, Spence, all of them, where they make money outside of that purse. It doesn't matter why. We understand the business, but I keep telling you guys,
they defer the purse.
Okay,
they defer the money.
We got a 23-year-old kid that does it on this. I don't care what they do with it. We have a 23-year-old kid that sees them getting more money.
But it's not extra money. It's not extra money. They just defer the purse that they got.
It's not magical bonuses to feel good. They're just rearranging the purse.
That. This 23-year-old kid doesn't. You're missing the whole point. You're taking your understanding of the business and you're applying it to what Teofimo should know. He don't fucking know, fam. This is why you're getting all of the cries. I'm not saying I agree.
He knows. He knows. He's not.
Yeah. Wait. One at a time. Well, hold on. One at a time. How do we know what Lopez knows or doesn't know? D.
Okay. Well,
yeah, he knows. He knows. That's.
Hold on. I want to hear the answer. I want to hear. Hold on. I want to hear. Hey. One at a time. Hold on. I want, because we can't talk at the same time, fellas. Fellas. Hold on. Precise. Hold on. Because we can't talk at the same time here. First of all, we moved on from how much did Haney make against Gamboa?
That's what I'm asking. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah,
according to this website, I don't know. I'm just reading a website. I googled this shit, and according to some website, they're reporting that he only made $800,000 for Abdulayev, not 2.5 million. That's what I find online. So who knows what the truth is? I'm just saying.
Right. That's what you find online, right?
So
I know. Okay, that's what you find online.
So Haney's been getting
Okay, hold on. I'll pull something up for you.
So Haney's been getting about $1 million per $1 million for this fight.
And by the way, let's say he did. Go ahead,
BDA.
No, go ahead.
No, while you doing that, I'm just getting ready to pull up something where I was talking to Bill Haney, and he discussed exactly how much they got, 2.5. So I don't know what Precise is reading. I'm just letting you know because again, Haney has Bill Haney has Devin Haney position where he gets more money than these other kids. So the deal that and Suleiman came out and talked about this too. Bill Haney was paid $2.5 million to fight Abdulayev. So I don't know what Precise is reading or whatever. That's cool with the articles, but this is something that's been confirmed. Like again, I talked to these guys behind the scene, bro, and he's shown me. He's
Who was it
actually shown
confirmed?
me shit.
I'm not. I'm interested in who was it confirmed by?
Yeah, because Bill Haney's not going to be the source I'm going to listen to.
No. Actually, I can't. Well, let me pull this up. I'll pull this up, and I'm not talking about a source. I'm going to try to find. He already showed this. He showed this because he always goes back and forth with me, Punch, IQ. He showed the paperwork on it, fam. So I'll just let me pull it up. Just calm down. Like, hold on.
All right, while
You
you're
know what I
pulling
mean?
that up, I just wanted to say Forbes says he only got paid $800,000, and know what they go off of?
Right.
What the taxes they paid. So if any money they got paid more than $800,000, it was behind the scenes and under the table because they didn't pay taxes on it. That's what Forbes goes off of.
Right, I got you. Right,
I mean,
that
I don't
was
know.
the
This whole thing about Lopez not understanding the business, like what he's getting paid and all that. I don't know. That's like when Biden just recently came out and said, "Oh, minorities don't know how to vote online." I mean, it's I don't know. I think we're underrating some of these fellas. Just a tiny.
Why we trusting his daddy? Why would maybe he's lying?
Let me ask y'all this.
So here's
these guys,
I'm going
these
to
guys do
jump
the business
in
so
here.
well, why
Could
are
be
they
lying.
getting
And
like why do
when
a
it
lot
comes
of these
time to
boxers
fighters and how much they make,
they know the business so well?
they don't always tell the truth.
That don't even make sense.
It's
Go ahead,
one of
Jay.
these days I'll talk.
Well, actually, D, I'm gonna get you on the StreamYard because it's kind of hard hearing you here on the StreamYard. So I'm gonna. Are you still you on Discord right now, D?
I'm not. I can go on there. I just
Okay.
was on
Yeah, get up.
StreamYard.
Okay, get off StreamYard, and I'm gonna get you
I'll
here.
go.
on
I'll
the
go.
Discord.
All right, I'll back out.
All right. Go ahead, Jay. Meanwhile, while he comes back, go ahead. And you were gonna say something.
Okay, so small stories of things of people I've met over the years. I met Roger Mayweather. Well, I knew Roger Mayweather back in '96 when Floyd was trying to make the Olympic team, and he was like the most prestigious person behind the scenes in the locker room. So everybody was flocking to him and talking to him everything he's done. Asked him how much he made in the second Julio Cesar Chavez fight. Oh, I think I made between 1.5 million to 1.75. Well, Larry Merchant had said, and Larry Merchant was on the ball back then, that was 750,000. So it's not like fighters don't exaggerate how much they make, including his nephew, who claims he made 300 plus million against Manny Pacquiao, and Al tax records say he made 280 million. That's over $20 million exaggeration. So they don't just exaggerate a little bit; they exaggerate greatly when they want to make themselves sound good. So unless we have things like what Jimmy's saying, the tax records, the rest of this money, especially Bill Haney, who's only going to make his son sound like he's the biggest star out there, which he's still not, isn't going to be a reliable source without something real behind it. Now, if D's got that, then and he posted up there, then I'll eat my words. But if I'm going by word of mouth of what a fighter's manager, who happens to be his father, says he's making, I'm not going to go off of that.
I go by what they pay taxes on.
Right.
And if they paid $800,000, that's what he got paid.
Haney's biggest payday was against, at least at that point, Santiago, where he got $1 million, according to.
Oh, sorry, Precise.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm echoing, dude. I'm sorry. No, finish, bro. I'm sorry.
No, I don't see Devin Haney getting $2.5 million. I don't think he's there yet. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
And
can I? Oh, I'm sorry again. I was going to say,
No,
can
you
I
got
interject
it.
what I
You got
think?
it.
What might happen here, dude? What might be happening? You know when DAZN signed all these fucking knuckleheads and they paid them exorbitant contracts in advance? Maybe they're deferring some money and he's adding it per fight. I'm just spitballing. Okay, go Precise.
Yeah, I'm just reading like this article about Devin Haney's net worth and what he's like. These people must have researched this shit because they put a bunch of numbers out there, and they're saying that if he were to fight Gary Russell Jr., they were talking about him getting paid 1.5, which would have been his highest payday to. His daddy could say whatever he wants. I wouldn't believe.
That would have been his highest purse. So I was just waiting for you guys. That would have been the purse. Okay, so he gets the purse. but he's not signed to. Did y'all hear an echo? Because I hear one. But he's not signed to Eddie Hearn Matchroom or the Zone. They're involved in a partnership. So back end money, like he gets money for DHP promotions, Devin Haney promotions, and he also gets a purse. So what Bill was talking about was all of the money they got. Now I've also pulled up on Bill about that too, because he runs around all of these other channels and he does talk about how much more Haney is getting paid. But I'm like, Bill, you guys also get money from DHP. You're not only getting the purse. So I guess maybe that'll clear it up. That's some of what he was getting. This is what he clamors on about. But again, all I'm saying is, even with Tank and the PBC, we know that these guys, or I would assume that you know that these guys get money outside of their purse, right? Not
Of
just
course they do.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So the tax,
But he didn't get $2.5 million
No.
in a single fight, meaning that was his purse. Now he
well,
makes
he got his
outside
purse
money.
again, precise. Or I mean, I might recognize. This is what Bill Haney's running around clamoring on about, and I get it because I told Bill Haney, my bad, you're saying a 2.5, but you're not mentioning that you guys get money from DHP. And then he's like, well, it doesn't matter. We're still getting that amount of money each time we fight, right? So that's and again, Tank gets money. Only thing Teofimo is getting is what Bob
Well,
giving him.
that's because he's a
That's it.
bad negotiator. That's
I mean,
basically what
that's
that
cool.
is.
That's all fine and dandy, fam. But again, as a bad negotiator, why would he be a bad negotiator? Maybe he doesn't understand, right? Maybe that's the point. Like I was saying, he doesn't understand. Either way you look at it, he's looking around and these kids are getting more money than him. As a 23-year-old kid, you're gonna be flustered about that. That's all I'm saying. Again, not
But
that I
you
agree
still
with it,
haven't.
not that
All
I'm
right.
trying to fight it or anything. But these kids are getting more money than him.
No, you keep saying that, but yet, dude, I'm sorry. Just because his father's saying, running around channel saying it,
Well, how does
it's what he
promotion
pays
work?
taxes, dude. I don't care, even if he has some side money going on, dude. It's no way near 2 million, 2.2, unless he's adding up what that initial contract from DAZN is.
That's what he's
There's
doing
no
more likely.
backdoor money in the fucking sport that he's pulling down 2.2 million. He might be, but then that's fucking a fallacy. That's not what he's making for the fight. That was just contract sign. That has nothing to do with, you know what I mean, like what he's earning or what he's worth. He was getting paid along the same lines as fucking, so wasn't same lines as fucking Tio. And then you go back and you look what fucking, what's his name, the fucking Kid Floyd has, what he was getting paid in the same position. You can't go comparing what you're getting paid against kids who are already champions. If you want to say, well, when he was a prospect, this dude was making so much more money than me. That just wasn't happening. So you can keep saying that he was looking around, dude, seeing other kids making more money, but that's just not factually true. They might have signed a bigger contract, but per fight, he was being paid market value.
But Jimmy, you gonna argue that with him because that's the complaint they're making. I really don't look. Hold on, Jimmy. I'm gonna tell you like this. I really don't give a fuck if you're right or wrong. I'm reporting the complaint that they're making. So go argue with him about you're not getting paid less. You do that. Don't
What
argue
we're
with me.
saying,
I'm just really again. I'm just
I'm
saying
not
what he's
arguing, I'm debating.
Right. Well, debate him about it. But what he is saying is that these kids. Oh, debate. My bad. Debate him about it. Then I'm just relaying the information.
no, I'm not going to. Why
I wasn't
debate the
going
guy?
against you. I'm sorry, I recognize.
No, I was just saying there's no need to debate his father on anything. His father is his father, and maybe
shit.
there is some back end.
Unreliable.
What we proved was he didn't get paid $2.5 million purse. That doesn't exist. He never did. He never made that
Yeah,
money.
no purse. No, I didn't. Like I said, that's why.
So the
I
Teofimo
cleared up what I
argument,
was saying.
what I'm saying is the Teofimo argument is it's not valid, right? What
Well, again,
Teofimo,
that's how they feel about it.
what
That's all.
Teofimo's doing is look, if it works for him, it works for him. So far, it looks like it might work for him. What he's doing is he's going to make it very hard. I'm not saying he's doing this because he's ducking. I'm just saying because the guy wants to get paid. He's going to make it very hard for these fights to happen. The fights that we want to see. Devin Haney. If he stays at 135, Lomachenko rematch. If he's going to get $4 million, I could be wrong. If he's getting $4 million for Kambosa, or Kambosos, whatever his last name is, he's gonna want more than that against Devin Haney and Lomachenko rematch, and there might be a problem in making that money because they just probably don't have it. You know what I'm saying?
Must be more than just a little bit.
That's all I'm saying.
It shouldn't be a problem giving them 4 more from Bill Haney and Eddie Hearn because they already said that they could
We
do
just
that.
said though that he's going to. We're assuming that he's going to want more than that, not just the 4, because he's making 4 fighting nobody.
He actually already asked for $10 million to fight Devin Haney.
Being delusional.
like, yeah, like,
Yeah, what did Hearn say when he asked that? You remember what Hearn responded?
They don't got that money. They don't got that
That's
money.
not what he responded with. He said we can do that, but let me ask you this. And then he started talking about the belt. But what he responded with is we could do that, but let me ask you this. And he started talking about the 4-belt undisputed situation. That's exactly what happened.
According to
I don't believe he can do that.
I don't believe he could either, but I'm just saying his response was we could do that. That was
right.
According to DAZN.com, matchroom promoter Eddie Hearn has dismissed out of hand the possibility that Teofimo Lopez will be paid $10 million for a fight with Devin Haney. Now, Teofimo Lopez can think whatever he wants. He could justify things in his head, whatever. He's free to do that. That's in no way, shape, or form an argument for whether or not the money's actually there, whether he's worth it. That's just obviously he thinks he's worth it because he's asking for it. It's irrelevant to this conversation. So I don't even understand why we're talking about it. And one last thing about Teofimo Lopez, he didn't have to fight Kambosos next because it was only in November, beginning of November, that Kambosos won the mandatory spot.
That's right.
And
That's
I believe you get somewhere between
6
9
months.
to 12.
Yeah,
More than
9 to
that,
12 months.
9, depending on the sanctioning body. I forget what the rules are exactly. So I don't blame him for wanting to get the shit out of the way, but it's not like he had to fight him right now. He wanted to, and maybe he knew something was coming through the pipeline because he's fucking winning big. So props to him for that. I'm just saying, as for us as boxing fans, that really complicated. That just fucks the whole game up with all these people coming in before it was Rack Nation and then PBC to a degree, and now is whatever the fuck this thing is that's coming in and just throwing money at these fighters. That's just gonna spoil them that much more.
The Zone played their part in that too, because they came in
Okay, that's fine.
fight money at everybody. $7 million paying Mikey to fight.
Well,
that's they were
fine
throwing money
too.
around too.
Precise said that then. Precise said this was remember you said it was a bad thing they were doing it.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter to me who's doing it. It's just if somebody's doing it, it's a problem. That's the only point. I'm not blaming or cherry picking this or that promotional company. All I'm saying is that in the end, this is great for fanboys because they're gonna sit there and talk about what this or that guy is making or what they think is in his head and all this other shit. And for people who just want to see fights, I mean, look at what we're doing here. We're just sitting here talking about fucking dumb fucking shit. Instead of talking about, the sport of boxing, we're fanagers. I fucking hate it.
Well, if I can illustrate, because I
put
up
good
a
ones
quote.
though.
Hold on, real quick. I just put up a quote here in the beginning of the show, rather. By the way, Jay, thanks for being on, man. Really appreciate it. I know you gotta go, but thanks for being on, and catch you in the next one, man. Enjoy your evening. I'm looking for I got Steve Kim tweeted this. He says, okay, so just so we're all clear on this, the quality of the fight still matters, right? Or is it just about what the boxers make at this point? Because that's what it seems like it's been. By the way, am I crackling?
Yeah, a little bit, BDA.
All right, Butcher, I'm gonna have to switch up back to line.
All right. Yeah.
Because otherwise, I'm gonna be crackling all over the gosh darn place. All right, hopefully that's better. Yeah, so that's the point Steve Kim made, and you know what? It's true. I mean,
Could you repeat that, dude? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. You were crackling. Could you repeat that?
Okay, so he said, so just so we're clear, the quality of the fights. Hold on, fuck. I'm trying to put it on the screen. Okay, so just so we're clear on this, the quality of the fights still matters, right? Or is it just about what the boxers make at this point?
Yeah,
exactly. I'm sharing this.
Comment about what these boxers make. Look, I know this is going to be it's going to be pretty big not a big comparison, a bad comparison, but like Mike Tyson when he was, I think 21, 22, he went on to win he was already undisputed, and then got big. He got paid his biggest money fight at that time against Michael Spinks, and it was something like $22 million for that fight, if I remember correctly, back in 1988 or 1989. And his fights after that were less than that, right? So he became undisputed, and he needed the Michael Spinks win, because like Michael Spinks was the last guy, he was the last lineal, and basically, beating Michael Spinks would make him the lineal, and he got a whole lot of money for that. And his fights after that, he got less than that, and of course, it was still a lot of money, way more fucking money than most boxers will ever see, even though that was in the 80s and the early 90s. My point is that if you think a guy, that's making $4 million to fight a mandatory, and you think he's going to take less money to find guys that could possibly beat him, I mean, you're just wishing on something. You're just wishing on a pattern that's not there. It's just not there. These fighters they're not gonna go backwards. And maybe he could make the big money fights. I don't know if he can pull it off after this fight. Maybe it's a sensational knockout, and it's like, oh, I got to see Teofimo. He just bumped up his stock even more, where he can say, I want $7 million or $10 million to fight Devin Haney or Lomachenko rematch. I just think that, look, when it comes to this shit, it's just the same old shit. It's to postpone fights or not make fights happen and give reasons why, you're gonna do some bullshit and just basically try to polish shit. Basically, that's what I see as the more likely scenario you're gonna see from here on out.
Teofimo is not a real fighter. He's a fucking diva. He's not about competition. He's in it for the money. He's not in it to prove who the best is. Period. Like, let's just call it what it is. Let's just keep it real. The dude is not a real fighter. Period. He's a business.
Well, we're getting to the point now of actions versus words, and some people are quick to vilify a fighter based on what he's doing in open negotiation. Am I crackling again?
No, you're good. That was
I heard myself crackling.
That was me.
Okay. Are you opening up a bag of chips or something?
No, I sat on my rusty chair and that fucking, it made a noise.
Anyway, what I was going to say is, sometimes we vilify fighters based on what they say in negotiations. That's why I don't really follow anymore what guys say, like, oh, I want to fight this guy. No, actually, I'm going to fight that guy. No, actually, I'm all about right now, the fights themselves. I want to look at the fights. I want to analyze the fights. And if they happen, they happen. If not, outside the ring talk, there's just so much time in the day that you can spend reading these articles, especially when you hear that the U.S. government is thinking about bombing Syria, just going to another gosh darn fucking war zone. I mean, I don't got time to be running around reading articles. I'm not saying
we're gossiping like a bunch of bitches. We are gossiping like a bunch of bitches.
Exactly.
And thinking about it, dude, they did bomb Syria, though. Fucking Joe and the War Machine turned it right back on.
Anyway, I didn't want to turn this into fucking second Renaissance, Jimmy. All I'm going to say
I know, I just wanted to say that.
All I'm going to say is that Steve Kim quote sums it up perfectly. Like, and he's been saying, he didn't just say it, in the last 5 hours, he's been saying it for years now. Like, what is it about, some of these people in the message boards and all that, just counting the other guy's money, saying, this is a great move for him. Yeah, but what about us? We're paying too. We're paying their salary. And now we get to choose with this pay-per-view fight whether we want to watch it or not.
You just want to see him lose. You just want to see him lose. Fucking bitch. Shut the fuck up. Of course, listen. I make no bones about it when I don't like somebody. That's part of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you prove the haters wrong and you fucking, inspire your fans even more. Like, I want to see him fight a guy that could beat him. Yeah. As many times as he can. Lomachenko was doing the same fucking thing, okay? What, you think him going up to 135 being much smaller because he's more talented, that was a guarantee win? No, it's not. All right? I don't see that much difference between a fucking Campbell and the guy that fucking Lomachenko almost killed in the ring before that, Corolla. All right? There's not that much of a fucking difference. It's just you take chances. That's how it goes. At least for me. boxing fan, that's what I appreciate. I don't care about their fucking money, and you just want to see him lose. You're a hater. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, at this point, like I said, it's all about the fights. And speaking of the fights, Thunderdome in the chat room, shout out to Thunderdome, says, why do we never hear guys like Loma, Triple G, and Manny talking about money? Because proving they are the best is their goal, and they let their manager handle the money. Well, that's one point of view right there.
That's
and
true.
I wish every other fighter could make.
Remember, these guys fought for shit. Remember, they fought for nothing.
Yeah.
Triple G, you can say whatever the fuck you want about Triple G, okay? And now, he's made money, yeah, but he had to do it. He had to take a lot of fights for cheap, for cheap money. Maybe he doesn't consider it cheap, or he doesn't even talk about that shit, right? But he did what he had to do, and until he got the big paydays, and he got fucked over on the scorecards. But hey, at least he did it.
I mean,
Yeah, good point.
Teofimo Lopez just beat Lomachenko, and he's already acting like he's been in the sport for like 15 years or something. He's like a superstar.
He's a new age boxer. That's what it is. He's just a new age boxer.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people like him. I get it. There's a lot to like about him in the ring. I'll be honest with you, there is. But he's a fucking whiny little bitch. Bro. Let's just be honest.
I keep mentioning this the
It's like,
COVID situation.
well, I'm gonna say this. I think Recognize just summed it up. He's a new age boxer. It ain't like he's not the only one, bro. We could go around boxing right now, and that's just what these kids are doing. Like in all sports, this prima donna syndrome. They want it before they earn it. And all of them are doing it. It ain't just him. Like he's a new age boxer, bro. They all want money. They want to look at Shakur fucking sitting around. Why is he not like Jared Anderson? Fighting, at least 3 or 4 times a year. All of this sitting around waiting like he's already the cream of the crop. Like all of these kids, man. Tank Davis started it off with all of this nonsense, fighting these nonsensical fights, chasing money. These kids don't have the desire that the guys had back in the day. Not Teofimo, not Devin, none of them. Because even with Devin, you can't sit around whining about people not fighting. You just get in there and fight somebody, fam.
Yeah, but who enabled this type of behavior, though? Who enabled it?
I mean, Floyd probably. Floyd and
Joy.
everybody. Floyd's cranked it up with Tank Davis, I believe. He showed the way of these kids not doing much and getting money. So now everybody jumped on the damn bandwagon and is run rampant with all of these kids. They want more than what they're willing to put out. They want more.
It's kind of an American thing, though, right? Because the Europeans don't seem to be doing that. And that's one thing, like, one of the reasons I championed to watch Lomachenko. Yeah, exactly, too. But one of the reasons I championed to watch Lomachenko fight is because of the fact he fought his first 16 pro fights, he fought 14 current or ex-world champions. He come out of the gate always looking to fight. He's never, you know what I mean? He gets crucified when he, took on a dude who, called him up with 2 years. But anyways, no, that's the reason why I like to see, I respect that in him. He's one of the few doing that.
Hey, listen, how much influence?
Worse because only we complaining about it, but these casuals and the fans coming in, they falling right in line with it. We the only ones that it really bothered, the hardcore fans. The rest of these guys, listen to how they talk about it, just like what your live is about. These guys praising Teofimo for costing the fans more money and all of that. So they fall in line with the idea of all of this nonsense. It's only us that really knows how the business works, that's hardcore, they've been watching this shit for 40 years. We don't like it. But the new fans and these promoters, I don't like it. I don't like a lot of this shit that's going on. It's not giving us what we want.
How old do you think we are, man? 40 years. Listen, Guerrero de la Info wanted to say something. Guerrero, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. Thanks, Media. Listen, with Tails' move to Triller, I mean, I wonder how much influence Teofimo Sr. has over his son's career in and out of the ring.
Well, that's a good question right there, man.
I think he has a lot.
Massive influence.
Which is, I'm not saying that's his dad, man. Whatever we say, whether I personally don't, at least what I see in public, what he displays, that's not the way I would conduct myself. I'm a person who has a son who's a young man, older than Teofimo Jr., but I wouldn't act like that. But look, That's his dad. I'm not gonna expect him to be disloyal to him. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, by the way, does Lopez Senior have a criminal record of any sort? Any unpaid parking?
I'm sure. I don't know. I mean, he looks like a guy who never got in trouble. What do you think?
Well, no.
about that?
The reason I ask is because Australia is pretty strict. They're banning people left and right, especially like politics.
That fight's
people.
not happening in Australia, is it?
No, it's over.
No. Okay.
That's
Okay.
over
Good.
here.
Good. Yeah.
But
'cause I
I'm
was
gonna say this one time. I saw a lot of people on YouTube, and you guys could back me on this. When Lomachenko was entertaining the idea of going to Australia to fight Kambosa. Oh, cherry pick, bastard, cherry pick.
Wait, Loma was gonna fight Kombucha once?
Of course, there was talks of it. Of course,
I didn't even know that. Jeez, Luis.
Yeah.
Well, that's just because the bar is set very high for the guy. I mean, look at everybody he's fought. You know what I mean? So apparently, with Teofimo Lopez, I mean, I don't know. People are giving him shit for this fight, especially the Devin Haney fans. But yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I didn't even know that Loma was supposed to fight Kombucha. That's, yeesh, he would have been assaulted.
Is it Kombucha or Kambosa?
I call him Kombucha
It's
for a joke. Yeah. I call him Kombucha just for the joke of it.
Kombucha.
Well, what's that fermented food? That's kombucha, right? Or kombucha or
Kimchi.
kimchi? Ah, whatever, man. Jeez, what is this?
Korean food with garlic and it's garlic and
He's gonna get 4 million. He's gonna get 4 million.
I'm sorry.
Yes, cabbage.
Yeah,
He's gonna
cabbage
fight-
and garlic on it.
He's gonna fight King Bucho for 4 million. That's nice.
Hey, by the way, did you know that if you eat like cabbage and kale raw, those are what called cruciferous vegetables. So if you eat them raw a lot, you start to develop a weird odor. And there was a time for about 5 years I was drinking kale shakes, and people were telling me, "Yo, man, you smell." Yeah, like my clothes when I would go to the gym, and when I would go to the gym and
like
sweat
a
a
wet
lot.
fart, don't you?
And I would go to the gym and sweat a lot, and I would smell my clothes. I would go, "Whoa, that's like, why does it smell strong, pungent, masculine?" And I would say, "Oh, it's probably nothing." Then I read about it. If you eat onions, cabbage, kale, all these they call them cruciferous vegetables. You eat them raw, you're gonna start developing some weird odors. So right now I smell like vanilla ice cream, so there's no worries.
Circulation.
But I smelled masculine.
Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah, that's my spin on it. Anyway, listen, fellas, we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it having you all on board. Always appreciate your input. We got a lot sorted out, a lot of information. Like I said, we all just want to see the big fights happen, the best. Tomorrow, like I said, I'm paying for the zone. I don't even know if I'm going to stay up to watch Canelo fight, especially now that the Martinez jumped out of the fight because he's got a busted hand. So, yeah, but don't forget to like the video, fellas.
Oh,
like.
He did, right?
Yeah, apparently he busted knuckle or something. So,
yeah,
that was the best fight on the. That's the best fight on the scorecard, bro. On the fucking
on the scorecard.
Canelo's fighting
tomorrow?
Yeah, Canelo's fighting Prezaz. You didn't. I would have assumed.
Yeah, you didn't know. He's fighting the Illadilla. You know, the killer of Manila.
Hopefully, he makes it out okay, man.
He's fighting that dude that Eubank almost killed.
Hey, listen. Hopefully, he makes it out okay, man. Because if he gets injured, we don't get to see him fight in May. So, I hope, I'm crossing my fingers. Hope he pulls through tomorrow.
Oh, come on! What the fuck's gonna happen? Like Jesus.
You never know.
Listen, guys. You never know, but that's his sparring partner. This is gonna go smoothly. I guarantee you.
May's supposed to be on what? Fucking Billy Joe Saunders? I'd be shocked if that thing actually doesn't fall through.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, Billy Joe Saunders.
Billy Joe.
You never know what he's gonna do. And don't forget, we're gonna be dropping that documentary on Sunday. So stay tuned for that one. It's gonna be fantastic. And thanks to everybody who contributed a possible name for that documentary. It's gonna be fantastic. There's a couple of cameos from some of you guys. So stay tuned for that one. And
it's called King versus King, but somebody suggested that we call the documentary King versus Kang.
Yeah, that would have been.
Not to go with that.
Would have been apropos.
That's all we're doing it.
So anyway, listen, fellas, thank you for
What
joining
about
us.
Black Girls Gone Wilder?
Oh, you should have. It's already gone to print.
Wait, what
It's
he
already
said?
gone to
I missed
Black Girls Gone Wilder.
We've already printed. We've already gone to print with the title and the DVDs, so we can't change it. By the way, Chris Gonzalez always giving me shit in the chat. He says BDA sweats champagne. Come on, man. He's making fun of me now. Come on. Oh, by the way, yeah, we also got Joseph Parker versus Junior Fa on the zone. It's on.
I'm fighting Junior Fa.
Junior Fa.
What a name.
I don't know what time that is over there. It's in New Zealand, so I'm assuming 12 hours ahead of us or behind us or whatever it's. Yeah.
Junior Fa is a much bigger. He's a much bigger man than than Parker.
Yeah, he's about 6'5", man.
Needs to buy a vowel.
I think he got to be more than that.
He's gonna get beat up.
He got to be more than that.
Junior Fa gonna get beat up, man.
Yeah, he is.
What's his last name?
King.
Like motherfucker needs to buy a vowel.
Yeah. Hey,
what's your last name,
Chinese
sir?
guy, the Chinese heavyweight. There's a Chinese heavyweight in the Canelo Yildirim.
Long dong.
Yeah, long dong.
Oh man,
no, seriously. Next weekend too.
All right, you guys have a good night. I'm out.
You too, fellas. Thank you for joining us.
Precise.
Yeah, we're gonna end it, fellas. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're gonna catch you in the next one. I'm not even gonna do an episode tomorrow. I don't think. I'm take it easy. Recognize everybody. I might not even do a
second
show
Renaissance,
tomorrow.
Bucho. Second Renaissance.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but we can't talk about war or anything now. Yeah, we can't talk about war or anything now with YouTube clamping down. So, not anything political, not anything.
Talk about mysterious dreams. Actually, I gotta talk to my boy Jimmy offline.
The dream catcher.
Yeah, no, I got a few new ones that happened since our last talk.
Remember them, dude. I'll break that shit down for you.
Yeah, fuck. Jimmy broke down. You guys weren't privy to that conversation, but Jimmy broke down when to recognize his dreams. I was in awe. The way he broke it down. I mean, I don't know if it's bullshit. Jimmy, I don't know if you used to read poems back in the day in carnivals, but that was the way you broke it down. I said, "Oh, that can't be a con."
Jimmy's wearing a bandana.
Well, there's just there's certain in this thing about this big book I read about dreams. It just there's certain things and it's always the same, applied. It's kind of, once you figure it out, I'm not even good at it. There's some dudes who make me look silly, man. You're like, I've told them, and they're like, they'll tell me back shit, and I'm like, holy fucking shit. Makes me nervous. I'm like, wow.
Are we off the air?
That?
No, we're not off the
air.
Oh,
shit, I'm sorry. I know we were still on the air, dude.
Yeah, we're still on the air. What the? Okay, anyway, listen. Before you say anything incriminating, we're gonna go. So thank you for. And by the way, not Dragon Legs. Who says T-Tone says the face of boxing fighting tomorrow? No show. Yeah, but who's he fighting? T-Tone, come on, man. I mean, if you can't, even if it's Muhammad Ali fighting tomorrow, if he's fighting some scrub, I'm not gonna waste my time doing a show on that. Come on, man. Official boxing says BDA. Hey, BDA. Official scorecard says. Official scorecard says BDA, ask Jimmy how to learn to understand the dreams. Hey, Jimmy, would you be willing to do a second renaissance on that, on interpretation of dreams?
No, absolutely. No, absolutely. Now, official scorecard, he got kicked off Twitter, man. He's a good dude. He should call in now and then, man.
I fucking love him. Like, how you hate on official, man? What the fuck?
Yeah, no, they kicked him off Twitter, man.
For what?
For like a month, and they booted him.
For anyway, listen, we'll get to that next time. Official, hopefully.
Bastard.
Well, you know what? Let's give him a plug. Check out Official Scorecard Boxing's channel, the Coup d'Etat Boxing. He's
Everybody
gonna be doing
sub to official, bro.
Yeah, he's gonna be doing a Miguel Gonzalez versus Juan Francisco Estrada breakdown. He already gave us a little preview. Check it out on his channel. It's fantastic. He's talking about changing of the levels and all that. And by the way, officials now saying I wasn't kicked out. So Jimmy, I don't know.
Oh. Really? Oh, I'm talking about the wrong dude then. I'm sorry. It was the dude with the turquoise color and it said official in his name. He was a guest on this show a couple of times.
He says he left.
Down. I assumed it was kicked up.
He says he left on his own accord.
Oh, he left.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. Good for him.
All right. So listen, fellas, thank you for joining us again. Really appreciate it. Guerrero, thank you for sticking around on StreamYard. Really appreciate you being on and your contribution, man. Take it easy. And before we go, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and shout out to everybody who donated with the super chat. Okay, why I can't see who donated anymore. I used to be able to before at the end of every show. What's going on? Hopefully, now Butcher's not here to tell me, man. Fuck. All right, everybody who contributed, you guys. Oh, actually, I can see it here. Haha. I got a special app that I'm on the screen that lets me know. Texas Bulldog, John Gonzalez, Viking Burial, and Jaguar. Thank you guys for your contribution. See, now Bucho was always telling me, put this shit up on the screen. I was like, nah, it doesn't fit on the screen. Well, guess what? Bucho was right, man. Gosh darn it. Anyway, listen, fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Gosh, thank you for joining us. Everybody in the chat room, everybody that called in, everybody that joined us via the Discord. Enjoy the fights tomorrow if you're going to watch them. There's also some UFC, but apparently the card's not that great from what I heard. But what do I know? I'm not a UFC guy. So thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Catch you on the next one. Okay, T-Tone says if Canelo gets caught, you might miss it. Yeah, I doubt it, T-Tone. I doubt it. But thanks anyway for the heads up, man. All right, listen, fellas, thank you for joining us. Catch you on the next one, fellas. Take it easy. I'm waiting for the music here.
Peace.
Peace out, guys.
Take it easy, fellas. It's fucking music, man.
All right, I'm with my two boys. I ain't trust that other.
But hold on. It's the music still. We're still on the air, and the music's not on. Anyway, I'm just gonna end it. Fuck the